Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's check the temperature. I've been doing that lately just because we just have such wacky weather here. So let's check.
Hello,
Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's check the temperature. I've been doing that lately just because we just have such wacky weather here.
Let me make sure I don't have.
So let's check. Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's check.
We've got lots of echoes happening. Okay. So let's shut that. Again, I like to have a window open sometimes to make sure that everything looks good. You know about my history with connection problems with Spectrum, so it looks like everything is good for now. I don't have the computer hardwired to the router, to the modem. So we'll see. If it gets bad, I may jump up and go hardwire it. But we are at 55 degrees today, which feels really chilly. You know, we had a couple of days this week that were in the 80s. And now we're back down to what is cool for me. I have to have a sweater on or, long sleeves. So who knows what Mother Nature's going to bring. I did see one tree in the neighborhood behind us that's beautiful, auburn colored. I have a video coming out tomorrow, so you'll see a little glimpse of it in that video tomorrow. But I've just been kind of wondering, where fall was. And we had the freaky cold weather a couple of weeks ago, I guess, and then all the rain. Oh my goodness, we are beyond being caught up for rain now, and the pond is fuller today than it has been all year. I think that's probably accurate to say. So be watching for tomorrow's video. I'm excited about my guest today because she's doing something that is like a fantasy to me. And I know she's probably going to share some things with me or with us that will reinforce my belief that it's probably not all it's cracked up to be. It sounds awesome, but I know there've got to be downsides to it. And I know they've had snags and things come up, but I think you guys will enjoy that. I hope you guys will enjoy that. Before I bring her on, we're going to go ahead and do our channel stats. We'll get that out of the way, and then we have the rest of the show just to devote to the Phillips family. I need to turn the volume down on my phone because, I need to turn that KDE Connect off is what I need to do, because I just got a message from our across the street neighbor. They're out of town until after Thanksgiving, and when they go out of town, I tend to their house. I pick up their mail and keep the bird feeders and the bird baths and things full. And we just make sure that everything is okay. Richard will probably go over and mow their lawn because he likes to do that if they're going to be away long enough for the grass to need to be mowed. And the weather's nice enough now that the grass still needs mowing. Richard's been out, I think, twice in the last month to mow the grass in the front yard. Not a whole lot of grass to mow anyplace else because Cabo and Delilah and the geese keep everything chewed down pretty short. But all that rain did revive our lawns. So he just sent me a message, but I'm not going to text him back. He's just checking to make sure everything is okay. But we're going to do our channel stats first. I think now I have the let me make sure I don't have a phone, like a phone link thing on. Oh, that didn't even turn that off. I thought I turned off that thing. So bear with me. I'm going to turn off that KDE Connect. So KDE Connect is what I use because I only have my phone to take videos for the channel. And I transfer the videos to the computer then so they can be edited by way of KDE Connect. If you are a content creator and you're trying to figure out how to do that, or you're doing it what seems like a hard way, look into that. We have a Dell computer, and it came originally with what was called Dell Mobile Connect. Super easy, just transfer the videos through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever directly to the computer so they could be edited. And they got rid of it for some reason. I think in January of this year, it wasn't a service anymore. So I did a little digging and came upon some information about this KDE Connect. That's K like Kevin, D like David, E like Edward Connect. It's free. It works flawlessly. I have never had a problem with it. And that way I can, again, capture all the video on my phone and then just flip it over to the computer so I can load it into the editing software. But let me pull up the spreadsheet with channel info. Now, keep in mind, it's been 2 weeks since we had a show. I didn't do a show last week. Kind of took the day off, which really wasn't a day off because I think we had 6 dogs here. And tomorrow is an exciting day because I'm going to the Good Shepherd adoption event in Saxe, Texas, which is a little over an hour, I think, from here. I'm going to ride with a friend of mine, another rescue partner, foster mom, and I'm supposed to be coming home with a foster puppy. So unless all of the dogs get adopted at the event tomorrow, I will be coming home with a foster puppy. It will either be, right now, their names, there are 2 puppies from which I will be choosing, Starburst and Skittles. They were just spayed almost 2 weeks ago, so they should be pretty healed from their spaying, which is good because when dogs come here, they hit the ground running as far as playing because we have a lot of space, a lot of dogs, and it's virtually impossible to keep them still if they're in the middle of some sort of recovery. But that's what's happening tomorrow. Let's get busy now with some stats. I just wanted, again, to throw that out that when you see some of these amazing jumps, not that they're not still amazing, but it has been 2 weeks since I shared the subscriber count updates with you. So number 1 on my list, and if you're new here, these first channels are channel members, RichKatRanch channel members. You can buy a membership to help support the channel and our work with the animals here. These are channel members who also have YouTube channels. So we have channel members that don't have YouTube channels. So obviously I don't share anything about them, but these are the channels that have YouTube channels. Some of these channels have been guests on the show. I've interviewed them. So would appreciate it if you guys will go show them some love by checking out their channels and helping them grow their families. Rooted in Texas, our neighbors Nina and Boyce are at 906 today. Ordered Steps holding on to that 1,320 something. Mind Fork holding on to her 508. Akashi Chris at Mind Fork, she and her husband Stuart have visited in real life RichKatRanch. Came over, we had pizza together, and she met all the animals and got to feed some of them. My friend Joe Hupp in Australia is still at 348. Jesse and Lisa, some Texas neighbors of ours at Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa, are at 1,770 something today. Butler Family Farm in Missouri, they are at 2,290 something today. Again, it's been 2 weeks, but what a beautiful jump that is. Split that in half and know that they still had 2 great weeks since the last time I shared stats with you. Hello to Gary Smith and Two Doves, Bees, and Gardens. It's good to see you guys here today. And Butler Family Farm, for those who missed it somehow, they adopted the foster dog Posey that we had with us for about 3 weeks here. So she was in some of the videos. I'll have other videos because I've got lots of footage that I just didn't turn into videos yet. That's who adopted her. So I made a road trip to McAllister, Oklahoma, Thursday the 26th. Is that 2 weeks ago already? Yeah, I guess so. Wow. And met them in McAllister so we could hand off Posey, whose new name is Daisy, and she's learning the ropes of being a ranch dog. And I know she's just going to thrive in that environment. And I could not be happier about where she went, because this is the first time I really will have such great access to updates on a foster pup. You know, over the years, we'll get messages or Christmas cards, or I'll be friends with the family on Facebook, or they're in the German Shepherd alumni group for Good Shepherd Rescue that we work with. And so I get to see updates that way. But wow, this is just next best thing to be in there. So a little off track there, but I wanted to just share with you the deeper connection now that I have with Jerry and Susan at Butler Family Farm, because their son Robert is the new dad for Daisy, who was previously known as Posey. My friend David Hunt is at 705 today. And then these are also previous guests on the show, not channel members, but they have channels that I would love for you to check out. Lee at First Floor Audio in the UK is holding on to his 1,250 something subscribers. My friend Adam Sky, also in the UK, is at 361 still today. My friend Kevin at All Bugs Go to Kevin. Great episode if you did not check that out. please do. And please go show his channel some love. He is at 433 subscribers today. Texas neighbors and friends Jeff and Lorena at Back to Country are at 832 today. My friend Amanda at Bare Bones Living is at 936. My friend Brian at Bearded Eagle is at 1,370 something. My friend Ashley at CNC Farm is at 2,300 something, between 10 and 20. She has not notified me that she has met the watch hours requirement yet. So please still go over, pick a playlist and run that for her. And let's help her get the watch hours she needs. My friend Tiffany at Canadian Family Life, still blowing and going. She's doing great things at that channel. She's at 2,100, between 10 and 20 subscribers today. My friend Heather at Come Hither with Heather in Australia is at 1,100, between 1,100 and 1,110. My friend Danielle at Dandy Days Ahead is holding on to her 1,080 something subscribers. Dawn Ray B, my friend Dawn Ray B, is at 588. Friends Big K and Brittany at Flannel Hill Farm are at 324. My friends at Big Bear Valley, FOBBV Cam, the home of Jackie and Shadow, my second all-time favorite eagle nest in the world, is at 217,000 subscribers today. So they've picked up another 1,000 subscribers, which is not surprising because we're in the middle of eagle season. We are in the thick of nesting. Nesting is happening at all the North American nests right now. So even though eggs probably aren't going to be laid, there are some nests that are going to have eggs before the end of November. Even though there aren't eggs yet, people are starting to watch because it's just fun to see what these eagles teach us and the teamwork they demonstrate and the diligence and devotion they show to each other and their nests. So another 1,000 subscribers for them. Please check that channel out. My friends Jen and Steve at Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve are at 1,070 something. Home Bartending with John. My friend John is at 407 today. Kirsten Nelson, horse guru, trainer, guardian, anything you could possibly want to know about having a horse, teaching a horse, caring for a horse, medicating a horse, you will learn from Kirsten. She's at 231 subscribers today. My friend Peter Tragos at Lawyer You Know, I expect at this pace he will hit 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And it's just still amazing to me to watch how this channel is growing. So again, it's been 2 weeks, but he's picked up 7,000 plus subscribers in the last 2 weeks. My friend Katie at Mayfield Ranch is at 1,340 something. My friend Paul at Millionaire Paul the Millionaire Challenge in the UK is at 336. Mountain Grandma, my friend Tammy, is at 959. That 1,000 is looming large for her. My friend Tiffany at Mud and Mascara Homestead is at 586. My friend Nick and Texas neighbor at Multi Hunter 24/7 is at 1,100 something. My friend Ginger at Not for Nothing Homestead is at 1,110 to 20 today. Devin and Ryan, Texas neighbors of ours at Our New Land, are at 5,340. My friend Nancy at Our Treasured Home is at 1,170 something. My friend Marin at Palmid Pioneer Pantry is at 298 today. My friend Shane at Paralife TV, your everyday wheelchair ninja in Canada, is at 2,280 something. My friend John at Pedroza Travel has crossed the 1,200 mark as of couple of days ago. So he put up a post that he had hit 1,200 earlier this week. So I'm sure he's a little over 1,200 by now. My friend Dr. Lund at Psychology Noir with Dr. Lund is at 1,030 something still today. Wes and Jess at Rich New Design are up to 648. Ronnie and Brittany, our friends in California at Ronnie and Brittany RV Story, are at 828. My friend David and Texas neighbor at Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion is at 3,300 something today. My friend Shannon at Shanster Travels is at 2,220 something today. Sparrow Spalding look at what she's done in the last couple of weeks. Look at what she's done since you guys met her on the show. So thank you to those who have gone to check out her channel and show her some support. And hello, P-Hop. Sorry, I just realized you were here. Thanks for being with me today. I do have Becky and her family in the green room. So as soon as we get finished with stats here, we're going to bring them up and pick their brains and let her entertain us with some adventurous stories. So Sparrow Spalding at 11,400 something subscribers today. My friends Kenny and Debbie at the Adventures of Kenny and Debbie are at 840 today. My friend Angela at the Inquisitive Farm Wife is at 2,370 today. I really think Angela puts up a video every day. Ashley pretty much does that too at CNC Farm. And I know maybe a lot of these other channels are doing it. Maybe I just happened to catch Ashley and Angela more often, but you will find something new there all the time if you check out their channel. So Angela's doing great, 2,370 something today. My friend Dino at the Late Late Horror Show is at 123,000 something subscribers today. My real life friend Tom Salta is at 3,080 something subscribers today. My friends John and Sarah at Two Doves, Bees and Gardens, who are in the chat today, are at 1,800 something, between 10 and 20. You can let me know what that final digit is if you'd like, John or Sarah, whichever one of you is in the chat. The Vineyard Chicks are at 4,740 something subscribers today. Ralph at Webb's Web holding on to his 1,050 something subscribers. And my friend Robin at What the Flock is at 591 subscribers today. As always, if you are a content creator and you would like to be interviewed on the show to meet some potential new subscribers and viewers, send me an email. We will pick a date. We'll get you on the show. I am excited to tell you that I just learned today. I don't know how I don't know some of these things. So I have another high school friend. He played my brother my senior year of high school. We did Bye Bye Birdie. The musical that year was Bye Bye Birdie. I played Kim McAfee, and he was my little brother in the play. And he has a YouTube channel, and I didn't know that until today. So I've sent him a message. You guys send vibes out because I would really love for him to be on the show. He has a great channel. He's a performer still to this day, and just a fun person, a nice guy, and forever my little brother because of our connection in high school. And so again, if you are among the content creators who would like to introduce yourselves to some new folks, send me an email, help me fill my schedule, and let's get you on the show. Let's see. Two Doves, Bees and Gardens. They are at 1,813, putting out a video tonight about their trip to Italy. Magnificent beauty and the call of the garden. So fun. Oh my goodness. So yes, you guys make a note. Check out their channel this evening, and let's go to Italy with them by way of YouTube. All right, let me take this banner down. And I want to say thank you to those of you who are with us live today. And thank you to those who are watching this as part of the rewatch crew after the show ends today. You're both amazing, both groups of you. I appreciate you, and thank you for showing my friend Becky and her family some support and showing the channel some support. Let's see, what else do I need to cover right quick before I bring them up? Let's stop sharing that. I don't think there's so much else going on here. I bought a turkey at at Kroger last week, I guess, because the last couple of years I've waited too long. Kroger always marks the turkeys down for the card members, the plus card members, to like 19 cents a pound or 29 cents a pound. And so I always wait. And I used to be able to still find a turkey that was the size I needed by waiting until, 10 days or so before Thanksgiving when they were marking the prices down. Well, the last couple of years I go, and there's either like 25-pound turkeys, which I can't do anything with a turkey that big. I don't even have room to cook a turkey that big. Or, little bitty scrawny turkeys, and I've got to buy 2 or 3 of them to make it work. So I went ahead and bought a turkey. I think they were 79 cents a pound. So it was still a great deal. And when I cook a turkey, obviously we have turkey for Thanksgiving, but then we have leftovers for a couple of weeks. I'll put a bag of boned turkey in the freezer, and then I can pull that out and use it in place of chicken or make turkey salad out of it. And so go get your turkey if you don't have your turkey yet. Plan ahead. I haven't decided what all I'm going to put on the menu for Thanksgiving this year, but I did see a new recipe in the Crocktober videos for some sweet potatoes in the crock pot that I'd like to try this year. Not everybody here likes sweet potatoes or will eat them, but I enjoy trying a new recipe, and I do like to eat the sweet potatoes just for tradition's sake, if nothing else. So go get your turkeys at Kroger while they still have turkeys in all kinds of sizes so that you can get the one you need. And I will probably do a video. I don't want to assume that everyone knows how to roast a turkey in the oven. That's how I always roast mine in the oven. I've never fried a turkey or smoked a turkey so I'll probably do a video because I know sometimes people come to YouTube when they're learning how to do something for the first time. And I'll share my turkey roasting secrets. And then watch for my video on the 24th of this month because I'm participating in Noodle November. So I'm going to make a family favorite. It's typically something that my grown kids ask for every Thanksgiving. So when we have Thanksgiving here, it's turkey and dressing and potatoes and cranberry sauce and green beans and sweet potatoes and all of that. But it's also Mexican chicken and rice and my lasagna because they love those. And they say anyway that nobody makes those better and they can't get it anywhere else. So those are usually on the menu at Thanksgiving too. So one of those I'm going to be doing for Noodle November. And let's see if there's anything else I need to tell you. I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you. I should have a list. I don't know why when I start the shows, I don't just have a list going into each Friday so that I can stay on track and remember what I'm supposed to be telling you. I don't know what I have lined up for next week yet, but it may just be an open panel show. I've got a couple of things I've learned about internet websites and things that are very interesting to me. So I have started making a list of that. If I don't have a guest next week, then we're going to do an open panel show. You can pop up and say hi, let us know what you have planned for the holidays. And I'll go over some of these neat websites and apps and things that I've come across in the last couple of weeks. But without further ado, since Becky and Mark, I don't see Dexter, but I see Becky and Mark backstage. Okay, she's motioning that away, so he must be taking a little nap beside her. We're going to get them up, and we're going to learn everything you've ever wanted to know about what it's like to be a full-time RVer, a full-time life on the road, and pick a destination or see where the road takes you, find a place to spend the night or spend the month, or and see the sights and enjoy nature and meet new people. And it sounds to me like that's right up Becky's alley anyway, just from what I know of her, because I've known her a long time. But we're going to learn the good, the bad, the ugly about RVing and what their status report is now that they've been doing it as long as they've been doing. So here you come. Here come Becky and Mark. How are you?
Hi. Good to see you.
You too. Where are you right now?
We're in Alpine, Texas.
Okay. I've been there.
Near Big Bend, about an hour and a half.
Yeah, north of Big Bend.
Now, there's a big like alien UFO theme there or near there, right?
That's Roswell, New Mexico.
That's where we were.
Okay. Someplace, though, when we were out, where did we stay? Oh, I guess we stayed at Davis State Park. Davis Mountain State Park. Fort Davis, yeah. And
we're talking about Martha, the Martha lights?
Yes. Why am I thinking we went through Alpine on the way there or back?
Well, you may have.
Oh, okay.
I think it's not far. It's like
okay.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
when I hear Alpine, though, I remember that camping trip. It was like camping trip of a lifetime. Just camping trip of a lifetime at Fort Davis.
It's beautiful out here in its own way. You know, it's if you like mountains or beach, they have mountains here, but it's not like Rocky Mountains.
Okay, right.
There's no beaches, and it's lots of desert.
Okay. And what's the temperature doing there right now?
It's about 55.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a high of 60. But
okay. Yeah, it's 55 here right now.
The last couple of days, which is unusual for here.
Right. And have you guys had lots of rain on your travels in this last few weeks?
Not really.
No? Oh, wow. Because it just flooded here.
Well, that's good. I guess everybody needed it really
we
bad.
needed it. But, yeah, I don't know that I would want to have to be on the road out in it.
No, we've really lucked out. We have not. We've been doing this. It'll be 2 years on January the 3rd.
Okay.
And we have not really experienced a whole lot of rain while we've been on the road. Somehow we have managed to duck a lot of the storms.
How
And we have been in a couple of really bad storms, but for the most part, it's different than sitting still because we kind of do what you call chasing 70 degrees. And so
okay.
our route is kind of counterclockwise around the US. We've done it 2 years in a row, and somehow we've missed really bad storms and lots of long rain.
How interesting.
Yeah.
How interesting. So that kind of answers one question that I was going to ask you later, which is, how do you decide where you're going to go?
Well, you answer that.
She's the travel agent. And for years, she set up travel plans for other people professionally. And now she says, I'm doing it for myself. So now I get to see all of these cool places.
Yeah. So when we started this, I said, do you have a bucket list? Where do you want to go? And he said, all I need is a lawn chair and a beer.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay.
Oh, everybody wins. Yeah.
That's easy enough. I can do that.
Oh my gosh.
So there was all these places that I've been dying to see. And so I've just kind of started trying to figure out how can we go see these things in the best months that it's not too hot or too cold, and works with our route and works for visiting family and friends. And so it's been interesting, and sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out where we're going to go and how it's all going to work, but we make it work.
Okay. And I'll let you tell viewers how you and I know each other.
We were in choir together in high school, and I don't think we ever had any classes together. Kathy's in the grade 1 year above me, so I don't think we ever had any other classes together.
I don't think we did.
Choir and theater.
You didn't take French or anything, did you?
No, I took Spanish.
Okay. That's the only thing I can think of where we might have been in the same class.
Yeah.
So that's been a while, y'all. That goes back a pretty good ways.
It's been
It's been a while. And so talk to us about when you made the decision to sell your house and just really commit to this full time. How was that a lengthy process? Was it just really that you had talked about it off and on, and then one day you both just said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just bite the bullet. Let's just make it happen.
You can think it to death. And what did you call it?
Analysis paralysis.
That's
it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't coin that term. Somebody else did. And I heard it in a class one time, and I thought, boy, have I dealt with that my whole life. So what happened was in 2021, Mark was notified. He had a really good IT job. He was a
Unix computer administrator.
Oh, okay.
So I've done that for 40 years, and I enjoyed the job. I had a company with really good people in it, so I was ready to stay there forever. And then, of course, COVID hits, and this particular company got shut down by COVID, and they sold it all to India and said, Mark, we need to lay you off.
Oh, no. I don't remember that.
That was 3 months before my retirement date.
Oh,
so that kind of pushed us in. It made the decision for us. Now, what are we going to do? We got an estate sale company to take the load off of selling everything. And that was really smooth.
Yeah. Okay. So they told him in July of 2021 he was going to be losing his job in October. And when COVID started, his company, they almost immediately downsized and got rid of 90% of their employees almost immediately. And we were like, holy cow. And he made it through like 3 layoffs.
Wow.
And we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when.
I turned the lights off. I left.
Plan ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's joking. He worked from home, but in 2020, when that happened, we're like, okay, what are we going to do now? So we decided to go buy a camper. And he had never really camped other than in a pop-up camper. And I had camped most all of my childhood, and I had done some in adulthood. And I said, let's try it out, see if we like it. So we started camping, and we decided we really enjoyed it. And we started camping more and more. And one day he looks at me and he goes, do you think our camper misses us as much as I miss our camper? We had it in storage. We had it in storage. And I said, probably. So we decided to start going camping a little bit more. Well, then when he got laid off, it was like, okay, what are we going to do? Just sit around here and look at each other, He hadn't wanted to retire before he was 70, and he got laid off when he was 66. Your retirement, his full age was 66 and 0 months. And he got laid off 3 months before that. So we just kind of coasted into that. And he decided to go ahead and retire early. And we talked about it, and we said, we enjoyed this. Why not do it? We knew 2 other people who did this, and they loved it. They were having a great time. And so we said, why not? Let's try it. And so we were not going to sell our house at first. That was not the plan. We were going to hang on to it. I had had that house for 27 years. He had lived there for 15. And the only reason we decided to sell it was because at that time, the government had put a moratorium on paying rent. If you moved into someone's house and started to rent, you didn't have to pay rent. Well, we couldn't afford to do this and have somebody as squatters in our house.
You couldn't do that.
Yeah. So we said, that's not going to work for us. So we decided to put it up for sale. We chose the perfect time to sell our house. We got the maximum amount for our house that I think we probably could have ever gotten. We had an offer. A guy walked through our estate sale. We didn't even have a for sale sign out front yet. It had a coming soon sign out front. And this guy walked through the house, and he liked it, and he decided to call the realtor and set up a walkthrough, an appointment before it had hit the market.
Yeah, he wasn't there for the estate sale at all.
Oh, okay.
Speaking in to see.
And is that who ended up buying it? Oh, well, early bird gets the worm, right?
Yeah. He was an investor, and he owned several houses in that neighborhood, and he really wanted another one because he was in that period of time where he had sold one house and he needed to reinvest the money before he had to pay capital gains or something on it.
Right.
So he ended up he called our realtor, and we'd already had 2 other offers that were just too low. I don't even know how they thought we would accept those offers. And I guess they were also walkthroughs through the house. I don't really know where those 2 offers came from. But this guy, he called our realtor, and she said, make it good. She said, make it a good offer. Yeah. And he did, and we took it, and we closed within 15 days.
Yeah, I knew it was a fast process. That's why I wondered if you just woke up one morning and decided, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell the house. We're going to go full-time RV. I just couldn't remember.
Yes. It's kind of, you sit around thinking, doing the numbers, crunching ideas and figures. And once you do the first go button, everything falls in line.
Oh, okay.
You can't
that first step.
all of those.
Yeah.
You can't figure it all out.
Yeah.
Just kind of hang on and watch where it goes.
Yeah.
So that selling the house worked really nice. Selling cars. We don't have storage of our stuff. We sold most of it, kept just the memory stuff, the personal items. Everything else got sold. So we have really no rental storage.
Okay.
And then we were off looking for a camper, something that we could live in, something big enough instead of just camping in.
So what you
Yeah.
have now isn't what you had then.
Right. We
right.
started with a 28-foot bumper pool.
Okay.
And we liked it, but we decided if we're going to live in this thing full time, we're not camping, we're glamping.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want
The
ice.
home, yeah.
And we wanted a bigger bed, something really comfortable. So this one, what we own is called a 2021 Forest River Sabre Cobalt 36 BHQ.
Okay.
And the 36 means that it's 36 foot, but that's
Okay.
not really true. That is your living space.
Oh,
It's
okay.
42 foot from
Okay.
bumper to bumper.
Okay.
And
it's a fifth wheel? Is this
it's a
fifth wheel?
fifth wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the BHQ stands for bunkhouse queen, but we
Okay.
have a bunkhouse king. The bunkhouse is a separate bedroom, and that's where most people would put their kids.
Okay.
We use it. We have our hobbies. We brought our hobbies with us. I told him, I said, I'm not doing anything that I can't take my sewing along with me. I love to sew. I make quilts. I make pot holders. I make little bowl cozies. I make all kinds of stuff.
And I'm not leaving my ham radio in storage or selling it.
Right.
I'm taking it with me.
Okay.
So we got a trailer that's big enough to where we don't have to pick up the bed to use the living room to lay the bed down to go to bed.
Nice. Okay.
It's big enough to where you don't have to convert between daytime and nighttime.
Nice.
And you can bring your stuff with you. It holds a lot.
And did you have to buy a truck to pull it, or were you able to like modify a truck?
We upgraded the truck
Okay.
to a 3500
Okay.
a dually, and it handles this. This one weighs 14,000, and it handles that with no problem. We had a 3/4 ton before that would have worked, but not in Colorado mountains.
Yeah. And
So
I'm
that's
guessing
That's where we want to go.
I'm guessing it makes more sense, or at least to me, it would make more sense to do it the way you're doing it, where you're pulling your trailer or your camper and not having an RV where if you want to go into town, you got to drive your whole RV, or do RV people like that tow a car? I mean, I just wonder how does
We really do.
Almost all, well, I won't say all. I'd say 85%. Wouldn't you? About 85%. They usually have what's called a towed. It's a car that's towed behind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But a lot of times in the Facebook forums, it's TOAD.
Yeah.
Called a towed.
Yeah.
And I would say most people have that. Very seldom have we come across people who every time they have to go to the grocery store, they have to unhook their sewer and their electricity and water and everything. So we did have that at one campground that we went. We pulled up and it looked like we didn't have any neighbors for the day. And I got to looking at their spot and I said, I said, we have somebody here next to us. And he said, we do? And I said, yeah, look, all their stuff is laying on the ground.
Mm.
So it was just, they had to go into town to go get something. So
yeah, they didn't have a class A, they had a class C, just a little smaller for navigating around town.
It's the kind that has the cab over the driver.
Oh, okay.
Versus a class A is one of those big buses. It looks like a tour bus.
Right.
My mom and stepdad have one, and I call it the Dolly Parton tour bus.
Yeah, and that's what I think of when I think of an RV. Is the big, like a tour bus kind of a thing. And that's why I thought it would make so much more sense to have a vehicle that can pull the camper. And then you still have a vehicle to drive around than to have one of those giant vehicles and have to tow a car around. So,
yeah.
And that's what we have on the inside is that much room. But then we don't have to take that into town, local streets. Yeah. So,
okay. So tell me now, Mark, are you getting to use your ham radio a lot?
Almost every day.
Yes.
Yeah, I have antennas strung over the top of over the roof, 30 feet up, and I can talk to roughly half the world.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's the farthest place? How far away is the farthest you've had contact with someone?
The farthest is Japan, and I don't know which direction I talked.
Okay.
Around the world, but Japan was the most.
Okay.
South America, Africa, Europe, all of the U.S., Canada, that's all within range.
Fun. And how long have you been doing that? Ham radio stuff.
25 years.
Okay. So yeah, it wouldn't be something I would want to leave behind either. And I would have known even if I didn't know, I would know you would not leave your sewing stuff behind. I would have known that. Nobody could have ever convinced me that you would even in a million years consider giving that up for space or any other reason. And I love when I see your post that you're still working on stuff.
Always. Yeah.
Here you are in the middle of the mountains or whatever. Oh, and you're putting up your post that I just finished this quilt for, this friend, or this baby quilt for this baby that's coming. Or I'm thinking, yes, how nice. And I would imagine those are some of the things that still kind of tie you to your history and your passions.
Yeah. So when we bought this, and let's see. Yeah, and our other camper too, Mark and his friend Lee, they put in a custom sewing desk for me in the camper. We took out one of the sofas in our living area. Most people who have a fifth wheel, they have at least one sofa, 2 recliners, and sometimes there's more depending on the layout of their camper. We have taken out the main sofa because it's just the 2 of us, and we rarely have company that comes in the camper. And so when they do, I sit in my sewing chair, and Mark sits at one of the dining room table chairs, and the company can sit in our recliners.
Nice.
So that was one, sacrifice, was taking out that sofa. But I tell you, my desk is my favorite place in the whole camper. Nice. I love it.
So it's not really a sacrifice then.
No, it just as far as having company, you know.
No, I put the desk in the back of the camper. That's where we are right now. So we've got big windows all the way around for her sewing. We pull into a new campsite, and it's always a kind of an adventure to go, oh, look at the view I have for sewing now.
Oh, yeah. So, nice. Inspiration too. Yeah.
Yep. I'm in my happy place now.
Yeah. Hello to Annabelle Atwood. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. These are my friends Becky and Mark, and somewhere in the room there is Dexter. Maybe he'll make an appearance.
He sounds like I can get him.
Yeah, let's meet Dexter. Everyone here at the channel knows that I am an animal lover, all kinds, but dogs definitely have my heart. Dexter, come say hi.
So Dexter is 13 and a half years old now. And
there he is.
We call him Adventure Dog.
Hi, Dexter. Dexter. Hi, Dexter. Hi, honey.
He's like, what? What? You're disturbing my nap.
Yeah, he has had some adventures. I remember shortly after I want to say it was shortly after you guys started full-time RVing. I remember just being so worried for him because he'd gotten a wound on his leg or something, or a cyst or something, right? And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, right, what do you do if you're in the middle of nowhere and you got to drive 50 miles to get him to the vet? Or, I mean, obviously he turned out okay, but I just remember being really struck at how it's no different than if you had a human child with you. Ah, there he is. Hey, boy. Hi, boy. He says, what is happening here? Mama, what's happening? Daddy, why do you have
very blind. He's very blind and he's very deaf, so he doesn't probably understand what's going on.
Precious, look at his ears. Oh my God.
Yeah, so almost exactly 1 year ago today, he had this big growth on his back knee.
Yeah.
And we got to Alpine last year because we come back to Alpine every year. It's one of Mark's favorite places in the whole world. We may not go to anywhere else, but we come back to Alpine.
Oh, okay.
And so, anyway, we got here, and the next day, or maybe it was the day after, I needed to fly to Atlanta because I had a brand new grandbaby that had just been born. And it's a 3-hour drive from Alpine to the nearest airport, which is El Paso.
Oh, wow.
So that was a commitment for Mark. He drives me to El Paso. I fly out there. I'm gone a week. Well, when I left, I told Mark, I said, that thing on his knee doesn't look good to me. I don't like that. I said, when I come back, if it looks worse, we're taking him to the vet, right away. I got back a week later. I could not believe how fast that thing was growing.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
double the size. When I
Yeah.
left, it was probably the size of a pea.
Yeah.
When I got back, it was double that
Like a
size.
lemon.
It's
Yeah. I
out.
remember being so worried. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are many vets out here because there's a lot of animals. You know, people have ranches and stuff out here in Alpine. We took him to the small animal
Are we
clinic.
boring you?
We took him to the small animal veterinarian clinic here, and they said that is cancerous. We do think we can get it all, and he's going to have some stitches on his knee. And he had 10 stitches, and he was a champ. He didn't try to chew them,
Oh, yeah.
or he worked with the bandages just fine, and he did great. We were
Yeah.
surprised because he has not always been
Yeah.
cooperative when he's had stuff. But
Then he's just an
not the first
adventure
time.
dog. Yeah.
He's fine. Yes, that's what we call him.
Yeah. He's an adventure dog for sure.
First one in the truck when we're ready to leave.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, good for everybody then. So another question I have, and I'm sure you get asked a lot of the questions I'm going to ask by lots of people who don't know anything about this life that you guys are living, this fantasy life that you're living, for those of us that don't live it. How long between spaces? Like, how long do you stay in one spot? How do you decide how long you're going to stay in one spot?
Typically, well, it kind of depends. Okay, so we like to stay somewhere at least 2 weeks, and we have a membership to a group that's called 1,000 Trails, and along with that, it comes with, we also have a membership to the Trails Collection, and another one to this thing called RPI, which stands for Resort Parks International. And those 3 memberships, there's these parks all over the U.S. Well, with 1,000 Trails, with our particular membership, because they have different levels of membership, we can stay at 1,000 Trails Park for 3 weeks, and then we have to be out of it, I think, for 7 days, and then we can go to another 1,000 Trails Park. And no, that's not right. We can go back to back.
Yes.
I think we can go
Now we
back to
can go.
back. Now we can.
Okay.
We had a different membership before, but there's not always 1,000 Trails or RPI or whatever where we want to go. So it depends on how much it costs, how long we're going to stay, and how bad there's something there that we want to see. Like we went to Savannah this year. I finally made it to Savannah, Georgia, and it was beautiful. I had been wanting to go there ever since I was a travel agent back at American Airlines Flyaway Vacations.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to sell those packages. And I thought, what's in Savannah? So I used to do little research and stuff. And it's just the cutest little town you've ever seen. Well, there wasn't a good park nearby there that was available. So, you know, if we have to pay the big bucks, then we're not going to stay very long. I think we were there for 2 weeks and 10 days. Yeah, something like that. It just kind of depends. And then some places we only stay one night if we're just passing through.
On the way to somewhere else. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the longest then, like driving? What's the longest you've driven in a stretch before you get to wherever you're stopping for the night or for the next 2 weeks? Or
we try to travel 1 tank of gas.
okay.
That way I can unhook. I can get to a campsite, unhook, and take the truck into town and get cheap gas.
Okay.
Instead of trying to get more expensive gas.
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
At truck stops.
Yeah.
So we try and travel 1 tank of gas and then stay at least a night.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's typically when I'm doing our route. I plan our route usually 2 to 6 months in advance. It just depends.
Okay.
I'm a planner. I do not like to do things by the seat of my pants. That is scary to me. It's very stressful to me to think that we don't have a campsite for the night. And we, let's see, when we first started this, we were going about 300 to 350 miles a day. And that was more than 1 tank of gas. And it was very stressful because we don't fit everywhere.
Yeah.
We are 13 foot 6 inches. Is that right?
Height is 13.6.
Yeah.
8 foot wide, and 40. The trailer's 42
Yeah.
long.
So we don't
that
fit
small?
everywhere.
So
Wow.
yeah, we're
Okay.
not going to fit in state parks.
Right.
Which are
Some.
older.
Some state
Okay.
park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we, after a bunch of trial and error of, first doing this, we decided it's too hard on us and it's too hard on Dexter to go more than about 250 miles a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we can generally, that's a pretty good day, because if we leave wherever we're leaving by at least 9 or at the very latest 10 a.m., we're almost always set up by 3 or 4 p.m.
Okay.
And that allows us to get where we're going in the daylight, because you do not want to do this in
Oh,
the
no. Oh,
He
no.
he
Maneuvering
has
that.
to do all the sewer stuff. Luckily, he loves me enough that I don't have to.
Oh.
I've only touched the sewer hose one time
Aw.
in almost 4 years.
Uh-huh.
So I do the outside. She does the inside.
Oh, okay. I like that
Yeah.
arrangement. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice because we get there in plenty of time. It's not dark, and we can get hooked up and have a nice relaxing dinner, and go to bed by a decent time.
Okay. And what is that, still 4 or 5 hours? I mean, what is 250 miles? Yeah. Oh, so that's still, that's a trip. That's still a trip. Now,
Yeah,
do you enjoy the road trip part of it as much as you enjoy getting to the destination?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I get to see a lot. And long trips like that put her to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
Okay.
misses them.
I guess you're enjoying it. Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy it.
Do you have a CB radio also in the truck?
Yeah.
Okay. That comes in handy, I bet.
It does. You can hear what's going on. Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
we can figure out why there's wrecks or whatever,
Right.
why there's backed up traffic sometimes.
Right. So what is probably, in your opinions, the biggest misconception people have about full-time RVing or full-time RVers? What would you think?
That we're camping, and it's not.
Okay.
This is not camping for us.
Okay.
This is living. This is our house. This is our, you had some people a couple of weeks ago saying, why don't you get off the road and come over and stay with us? Well, that's difficult. I mean, we'd have to unpack from here to go live in your guest room.
People don't think of this as our home. This is just camping for them.
And I'm even among those. I'm even among those because my only experience with like campers or sort of doing what you're doing is just been camping. It's going camping for a family reunion or to do sky watching or whatever. And so that's the first place my brain goes. Also, when I know that you're staying at a place where you got to hook up all your stuff on the home, then it still seems like camping to me. So I think that's a great answer. And that's why I thought I'm going to ask that, because I'm sure, because I haven't done it like you do it. For me, it would just be camping. Can you see these notes when I put them up on the screen?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a note here from Jenny Bransford. Hey, my friends Becky and Mark, so good to watch and hear y'all. You look great, and hi, little Dexter. And then she does go on, and we'll talk about this. She'd love for you to share some info and some of your adventures in Lake City, Colorado. And I have that on my list. I want to talk with you about that as well. So we'll be moving on to that also. And my final question, I mean, I'm sure there'll be other questions. And if you have a question in the chat, feel free to pop your question in. I can pop it on the screen and we'll get.
I want to answer one more thing for you, though, on misconceptions. One of the other misconceptions that we get a lot is that people assume that if you do this, it's really cheap. And because you don't have a house anymore and you don't have to pay taxes, on a house anymore, and school taxes and all that. That is a big misconception, because this is quite expensive to do this. For one, the fuel. Oh my goodness.
Oh
the
my
diesel.
goodness. Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
We typically, I would say this whole summer, well, this whole fall, we've been paying right at $4.49 a gallon or $4.59 a gallon.
Wow.
This whole summer, when we were in Lake City, Colorado, we were paying, it was $5.
Yes, a little over $5.
It was a little over $5 a gallon.
California's more than that.
Yeah,
So.
California's even more than that, which we haven't been to California yet, and that's
Right.
one of the reasons why. But the camping, the fees alone are expensive. It ranges anywhere. Well, first of all, a lot of people assume that if you do this full time, that you must be boondocking. And boondocking is where you don't have any hookups. You go and you use your generator, and you have water in your tanks, and you don't flush your sewer for 3 to 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's not how we live. We can't boondock in this particular camper, and we're okay with that because this particular camper has a residential refrigerator and it does not run on propane.
Oh.
So we have to have electricity, and we prefer that, and we're the kind that we prefer to use our bathroom. A lot of people buy these campers, and then for whatever reason they want to use the RV park or the state parks bathroom facilities. They shower in there, they use the bathroom in there, and they don't ever use their bathrooms. This is our home, and we're determined that we're going to use every bit of it. We paid for all of it. We're going to use all of it.
Right. No, and that's good to point that out too. Again, because my only experiences with camping, it was just a, long weekend, or, I mean, I think when we stayed at Fort Davis, that might've been one of the longer trips we made because it didn't make sense to drive that far just to spend 2 nights and then turn around and come home.
Right.
So that's why we made like a week out of it, but we also went out to Marfa to see the Marfa lights and, day trips. We would do day trips from there.
That's
and
what we
the
do.
Scenery all around. Yeah. So
we use wherever as a base, and then, kind of use that as a hub and go to the spokes,
Yes. Well, again, because it's your home. So you're at home to sleep and eat.
Doing this, we've met a lot of great people in the parks. And at least half of them, half of the folks here are full-time, and half of those are full-time stationary.
Yes.
We're what's called full-time traveling.
Oh, okay.
So we're not in one park all the time.
Okay.
They are.
So they live at that park.
In the park, and they get monthly or yearly rates, and they basically have a small apartment.
Okay. Wow.
That's kind of how we are. This is a small apartment, but we take it with us, of course.
Right. Nice. Okay.
Most of the folks just use it as their apartment. They live here, and they maybe work in town, or they are retired, and this is a retirement.
Interesting. Community. Yeah.
So,
see, I think I would like the road tripping part of it enough that I wouldn't want to just like live in a camper all the time.
We figure that eventually we will digress into full-time stationary.
Yeah.
When we find a nice spot, we always go to a new place and, hey, I think I could live here. This is cool.
Yeah.
But that's down the road a bit. We'll find out. We found many places that we could live.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, I just want to say hi to Jerry at Butler Family Farm. And yes, tomorrow is Veterans Day. So much love and appreciation for all of our veterans out there. Today is the Marine Corps birthday. So happy birthday, U.S. Marine Corps. We're a Marine Corps family here. So that's a big date around our house. And my friend Devin, Devin says, my grandparents used to own a nice RV park in Amarillo, now sold. I once approached a guy entering his bus in San Antonio thinking I would pitch the park. The guy turned out to be Charlie Daniels.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Did he also tell you that you have a nice radio voice, Devin? Y'all, I've told Devin before I could just listen to him talk or read the phone book or just anything that, is cool. just everyday stuff. Hello, Bud Files. Thanks for being here today. Hello, Nancy B, the Scratcher. Thank you for being here today. These are my friends, Becky and Mark. We had Dexter come on and bless us with his presence for a little while, but he's taking a nap. He's an old man who needs his rest whenever he can get it, but he is living the life and has become the ultimate adventure dog in his travels with his parents here. So, other questions? Anyone else in the chat have questions? I wanted to go through now and show some pictures. Becky sent me some pictures, and what I'm hoping you'll do, I'm guessing there's probably a picture or two from Lake City, Colorado in the batch. Do you remember?
I don't know. Maybe.
If not, if we don't go through it, if we don't get to talk about Lake City because there's a picture in this batch, then we'll just move on and talk about Lake City. Because I know there's a lot more to Lake City than just the fact that you guys stayed there.
Right.
On your travels. So I'm hoping you will share some more of the stories for that. But let me pull up my share screen. You guys will still be on screen with me. All right. We're going to go. Oh, yeah. I'll show you this graphic that I found at, let's see, I have a note about where this picture comes from. And it asked that if I displayed it, that I say where it came from. This came from camperfaqs.com, RV statistics, trends, facts. And this is, I don't know if you guys can see that. This is total monthly RV shipments. And it's comparing 2022 to 2023. And I did read several things that said that purchases and shipments of RVs has been down this year compared to last year. But I read that right away and thought, okay, yeah, because the people all bought their RVs last year. So all the people that are RVing this year already have their RVs. And they're
if you're in the market to buy an RV, this is a better year to buy a used one than last year because the prices are coming down.
Okay, which makes sense because since the demand looks to be a little lower, I'm sure they are sweetening the pot by dropping the prices. But let me now let's take that off and we'll get to some pictures here. And you tell us what we're seeing.
So one of the benefits of doing this is between Mark and I, we have 8 children. We have 11 grandchildren. And our son, Ben, Mark's son, Ben,
He's
married.
the tall one right there.
Ben is 6'8". And Mark is 6'2", and he looks like a little midget next to him. I guess.
Midget.
Maybe that's not the right word.
So that was his wedding in Utah.
Yeah. So they got married in Salt Lake City, and his little bride is just the sweetest, cutest thing you've ever met. Anyway, this is one of our benefits is getting to go see all of our kids.
Your schedule is your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
They don't, some of them have kids and they just can't afford to. We lived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area before we started doing this, and they just didn't have the money to come see us very often. So now we go see them.
All the kids are like that. They have their lives, they have their families and their schedules, and being able to take off and see Granny and Grandpa, good luck with that.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same here. Our oldest daughter is a nurse, and a lot of times if it's her weekend to be on call or,
my daughter's is a
covering
nurse
the office, she doesn't always get holidays and stuff where she can travel. And then we've got, the youngest grandkids. The youngest grandkids are they're the closest ones, but little kids, 18 months, and that's kind of hard to pack everybody up just to go drive, an hour and a half to spend 2 hours someplace.
Yeah.
But we look forward to the holidays. They do try to make it a point to come to the area for the holidays. So I'm happy if that's the only time we get to see them. I'm happy for that. Next picture. Tell us what we're seeing here.
Okay, so that is Beaufort, South Carolina. And
can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
Are you guys frozen? I think they're frozen.
Uh-oh.
We'll give them a little time. This looked like a magazine cover or an album cover picture to me. Maybe it's me. Hang on. I probably should just turn off my VPN. All right. Are we back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think my VPN for some reason disconnected and was trying to reconnect. So I think it was me that wasn't connected anymore. I was saying that this picture, I think of this picture, this looks like a magazine cover or an album cover or something, but tell us where this is.
So that is in Beaufort, South Carolina. And we stayed there. There's this thing called Hip Camp. It's hipcamp.com.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of it.
And Hip Camp is where I go whenever I'm looking for a place to stay in a specific area and I can't find a good RV park.
Okay.
And so, because I'm looking for full hookups, I'm looking for something that will take a 42-foot, and I'm looking for something usually for at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks. I wanted to be in this particular area, but everything was like $100 a night. Well, we're not going to pay that.
No.
I mean, it's like I say to him, and he always laughs. I say, we're bringing our own house.
Yeah, I don't even like to stay in a hotel for that. That still hurts my pocketbook to find a hotel for that. And that's a good deal for a hotel, but
yeah. So Hip Camp is typically people who have their own property and they've put in full hookups and they will rent out to people who have campers that, you know, they don't really mind the view or whatever. Well, the particular place that we went, it was this lady's property and she had barely enough room for us. We barely fit in that spot. And her place was beautiful. And this was just down the road.
Oh,
and
nice.
This was, I took this picture one night while we were waiting to get into a restaurant. It was a really busy restaurant. And I think we waited like 30 or 45 minutes to get in. And we don't typically wait that long. We'll go somewhere else. But it was too beautiful. I wanted that view for dinner.
It is beautiful. You know, people tend to go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's an inland river right on the coast.
Okay.
And the tide raises and lowers that a good 8 or 10 feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Twice a day. So
do you just take pictures with your phone, Becky?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got a fancy camera, but our iPhones do, you know, almost just as well.
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful picture. I was going to say, we've had people tell us before that we should sign up for Hip Camp. I mean, I don't want to put in hookups and stuff. And it would just be hard here. You know, we've got a horse and a mule, and I wouldn't want to take a chance on, you know, maybe somebody's pulling their camper or whatever in through the gate, and then Cabo and Delilah decide, hey, here's our chance. Let's go check out the neighborhood. So I don't know that it would be a good fit, but because we're a sniff spot location, people can rent the property to bring their dogs and run off leash. And we just put Cabo and Delilah in the backyard. Our dogs stay in the house. The ducks and geese stay in their yard. And that's what has made people say, oh yeah, y'all ought to do Hip Camp too. Just because we have some acreage and some space, but I just don't think logistically that would work. Sniff spot people come, they're here for an hour. It's during the day. You know, we can just shift Cabo and Delilah around a little bit. They like coming to the backyard too, because it's like a treat. But I don't know about if I had somebody that, you know, really stayed all night or stayed all week but I was tickled to learn that that's a thing. I've just thought, wow, a lot of great ways for people to make money. I mean, have a passive income. You know.
Yeah, so most of the places that we've been on Hip Camp now, we've probably paid between $30 to $50 a night.
Oh, nice.
And that's on the low end.
Okay.
I would say it's very rare that I can find one for $30 a night, but sometimes I can.
Okay.
So a lot of these people are making some bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Know.
Nice.
Got a couple of spots on your property, you can make, you know, $100 to $200 a night, depending on what your view is and what your, you know, if
the attractions
you got a beautiful spot, or if you've got any attractions, you know, if you know, added horseback riding as one of the options, you never know.
Yeah, I don't know how that'd go either. Hello to Joe Hupp. Thanks for being here today. Joe Hupp is our friend in Australia, a channel member here. Let's see, next picture. I think
so
this kind of speaks for itself.
That was a Christmas gift to Mark, not last Christmas, but the one before, when we started getting ready to take off and do this. And I got that on Etsy, and we kept seeing those at everybody's campsites, something like that would have their name on it.
Yeah.
And where do you keep this? Where do you display this?
That's hanging right now on the fifth wheel, right on the front,
Okay.
where it connects to the truck.
Okay.
But I can also throw a rope around a tree, in
okay.
front,
Yeah.
wherever.
Nice.
But that happens to be on the camper itself.
All right. Let's see what we've got next.
So that was the day that we sold our house.
Okay.
And we were just so tickled that everything had gone so smoothly. And you've got another picture in there that you're going to come to in a little bit, that it's a sunset with, it looks like a cross in the clouds. And I am a big prayer. I talk to God quite a bit. And I had just been constantly asking for reassurance. Are we doing the right thing? Is this the right decision? Should we sell the house? Should we not sell the house? And I'm telling you, quit. He's scratching so loud. Anyway, everything had just gone so smoothly. And the house closing, I was a escrow assistant for a short time, and a long time ago, back in 2004. And I saw so many deals that would fall through at the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
Some big problem, the survey wasn't right, or the termite inspection didn't go well, or, whatever, happened. And I just couldn't believe how easy and how fast every single thing fell into place. And that particular day, I was just like, wow. Okay, wow.
Yep.
Way smooth. Smooth.
And that will be 2 years ago, beginning of next year?
What is today? The 10th? It's 2 years ago today. We closed.
Oh, all right. Well, congrats on that little memory there too then.
Yeah.
All right. This makes me think of Mississippi, only because there is a place in, I think, Biloxi, where there's like a big shark looking mouth at the front of a restaurant or something.
So that's Port Aransas.
Okay.
And, let's see, we went there when we still had our bumper pool, I think. And we had so much fun. And I had not been there since I was a kid, and he had never been there. And so
lots of these places I've never been to. And it's hard to find one that I don't like.
Oh,
really
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
And this big shark mouth, they have those all over Port Aransas.
Okay.
And I just thought it was the funniest picture.
I love it. I love it. All right.
All right. So that's close to Lake City. Lake City, Colorado has special meaning for me because when I was a kid, my dad used to ride dirt bikes, and he worked at General Motors, and a bunch of the guys out at General Motors found out that you could ride dirt bikes up in the mountains, the San Juan Mountains in Colorado. So I think it was 1972 or 73, the first time that my dad brought me and my mom, I'm an only child, brought us to Lake City, Colorado, and checked out all the mountains. And Lake City is this teeny weeny little town nestled in the Hinsdale County. It's like the only town in Hinsdale County. And it's right in the middle of these giant mountains, and it's beautiful. So I kind of fell in love with that. And we went back almost every summer when I was a kid and ride dirt bikes and four-wheelers and ATVs, whatever. Well, then when I was in about the 8th grade, I guess, one summer we were up there, and there was this show called Popcorn Palace in Lake City. Were you in Popcorn Palace?
Never got to go. Just because my parents were weird. I don't know if you remember, they were weird. So I wasn't allowed to go. Yeah.
So Popcorn Palace was this song and dance show put on by a man named Lewis Harris and his wife, Sally. And he was the choir teacher at Sam Houston High School in Arlington. Well, I was from Arlington, and these kids up on stage are from Arlington, and I'm like, how did that happen? How did that all work? So I was mesmerized. Well, come to find out, I'm going to Sam Houston, and he's still there. And so he ended up being my choir teacher, this man who puts this show on in Colorado. Well, I didn't give it a lot of thought. I didn't know how those kids got picked. It didn't really occur to me, that was something I could try out for or whatever. So I ended up winning our high school pageant in the 11th grade. And after that, I got a phone call from the Harrises asking me if I would be available to come up and do the show in Lake City. And I was so touched and just amazed that I had made the cut, and went to live in Lake City for 6 weeks, the summer between my junior and senior year in high school, and was up there with good friends. And the whole town just felt like a big family to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Harrises were probably the most Christian people I'd ever met in my life. And their integrity and their morals and their beliefs, it was a life-changing summer for me.
Yep. And
the friendships that I made with people that summer, I've kept, my whole life.
Yeah.
So after that, my kids have been up to Lake City with my parents, and whenever Mark and I got together in 2000, we got together in 2007. In 2009, we went to a fundraiser, and this fundraiser, I still don't really know how they knew these people, but one of the things that had been donated was a week in Lake City at this place called Inn on the Lake. And it was one of the things that you bid on in the silent auction. And the opening bid was $1,000. Well, that's a great deal, even back in 2009.
Yeah.
And so I told Mark, I said, oh my gosh, I said, we have to bid on that. And he's like, I've been to Colorado. I don't need to go back. And I was like, no, you've never seen anything like Lake City. This is the most beautiful place on earth. He's like, whatever. So we spent $1,000 and nobody else outbid us.
Oh.
So the next summer, when it came time for vacation, we went up there, and he was like, okay,
I get it now.
Beautiful place on earth.
Okay, I agree.
So in Lake City, Lake City is one of the areas that you can go on what's called the Alpine Loop. And the Alpine Loop is this trail up in the mountains that goes, 40 miles, something like that.
Something like that.
And it takes all day to do it.
And like the picture here, it goes over a couple of passes. The town itself is at 8,000 feet.
Wow.
Passes are at 12 and 13,000 feet.
And 14.
It's 4-wheel drive only.
Wow.
And it's a blast. People come to the area just so they can drive the mountains.
And you were there in the summer?
Yes.
But it was still cold. I can tell it must have still been cold. Or at least up that high, it's still cold.
Oh, it's very cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the snow in the back?
Yeah. Well, I've been to Colorado before in the summer when there's snow. You go to the mountain and it's snowing, but then it's like shorts weather at the bottom of the mountain.
Yes.
Even though the whole thing is elevated, but
yeah, we have on many layers in that photo. I usually start out with 3 shirts on, and by the end of the day, it's hot, and I've got on just one short sleeve shirt.
Right.
But one side note to this: back in 2002, my dad passed, and my mom and me and my 2 kids, we went to Engineer Pass, and we spread my dad's ashes up there.
Nice. Very nice.
So I always, every time we go up there, I always say, hi, Daddy.
Yeah. So back to Popcorn Palace. So did you dance at Popcorn Palace, or did you sing, or both?
Both.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm thinking if it was after the pageant, then they probably called to say, we need you up here dancing for us.
Yeah. And I did the dance where I won the pageant. It was called, it was a song by Mo Bandy and Joe Stampley called When It Comes to Cowgirls.
Uh-huh.
I had made the dance up on my own.
Uh-huh.
And it was another one of those things, just like selling the house, that dance came to me so quickly. And so just organically, the whole thing just from start to finish was so simple. And yet it was such a cute dance. And I won, and I couldn't believe it. When they called my name, I kind of hesitated because I thought I heard it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the pageants because I was never confident enough to compete, but I would accompany singers. I would play piano and accompany singers that competed, because then I'm like in the background. Then no one's looking at me. They're looking at the person singing. So that's my memories of the pageants. But I remember that year. I remember how much I enjoyed that dance. So that's neat. Tell us more though. Before we go to another picture, let's just go ahead and work Lake City, Colorado in here more, because I know you spent a good chunk of time in Lake City, Colorado this year.
Yes.
And tell us about that, because this just sounds like the stars really aligned and everybody benefited by you guys being in Lake City, Colorado this year.
That was one of our longest stays of the whole year.
Oh,
Stayed there 3 months. And Texas is burning up and dry, and we're laid back in lawn chairs enjoying the weather.
Oh yeah, it sounded good to me.
I tried not to make fun of my friends in Texas, but it was difficult. So that was wonderful.
Yeah. So the weather there is really nice in the summer. And I would say most days the high was maybe 70, 75 degrees. And I would be reading on Facebook, all of my friends are just sweltering at 109 degrees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With no rain, no wind. Yeah.
I would talk to my mom and she's just like, I'm so hot. She's like, we're not mowing. We're not doing anything. We're just trying to stay cool.
So if you remember the Andy Griffith show that was on TV,
oh yeah,
Mayberry, that is what this town is.
Oh, nice.
One street, a main downtown that has an ice cream parlor.
Oh, nice.
Across the street from that is the city park, where kids are doing sack races.
Oh my goodness.
And tetherball and riding their bicycles through, without adult supervision. Just go
even
have fun.
In 2023.
Yes.
It is.
Oh, nice.
Real live Mayberry.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because we have Pluto TV here, and it's on the channel that just plays Andy Griffith show all the time. That's like Richard's favorite show.
That's the real deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's like the whole town is got wood boardwalks everywhere, so that you don't have to walk, in the mud or the dirt or whatever. And there's not a lot of cement, like that. It's just the cutest little town. The way that we stayed there this summer, so we stay at an RV park called Wood Lake Park RV, and Wood Lake is hard to get into. We started out, we went in 2010 and stayed at Inn on the Lake, and then in 2013 we stayed in one of the cabins there. And then in 2020, when we got our camper, I called up there to see how long we could get in for. And I think we stayed for a week. Because he was able to get off a week, and I was able to get off a week. And we went up there. And then in 2021, I think it was 2021, we stayed a month. And then 2022, I think we stayed a month. And then in this summer, we were supposed to stay a month. And I had called the ladies that do the reservations, and I kept checking to see if there was anything longer. Well, about March or April, I guess it was, that's when a lot of movement starts happening with the reservations, because people realize it's a whole lot of retired people. And so what happens is they're getting older. Some people get sick. Some people, they broke a hip or a leg or whatever. They travel, can't get up the stairs in their RV, and on and on and on. And things change. People can't get off of work or whatever. Well, so they called us and they said, the guy that you're staying in that spot, he's not going to be able to come this summer. Would you like to stay all of July, August, and September? And I said, yes, I think so. Let me ask Mark and we'll double check. And he's like, yes, jump on it. So we did. And then once we got there, we were like, okay, well, this is different. We don't sit still this long. We're used to going and blowing in 2 weeks, you know? So we decided, why not make ourselves part of the community? They're very, very open to summer people coming and going, because that town pretty much shuts down a lot from like October to May.
Okay.
It's so cold up there.
Right.
And so they're used to the influx of these thousands of people in summer, and then they all leave at the end of September or earlier, you know, especially for students. So we decided to get jobs. And that's the first time we've ever done that. And so I got a job working at the local newspaper, and he actually had 2 jobs. You tell her about that.
Yeah, I was working at a garage that does the 4-wheelers, and I worked at a grocery store.
Well, tell her what they did on the 4-wheelers.
Repair and washing and all that junk.
Okay.
They rent the 4-wheelers, and the people that rent them take them up in the mountains and abuse them, and they have to be fixed.
Yeah. And then they bring them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to meet lots of great people. It was very nice.
And y'all, so Becky says she got a job at the newspaper because she was a writer. She was writing for the newspaper. Yeah. Full page
story. Would assign jobs for her to go interview, and she's got her clipboard, and she takes off for the day and interviewing all these people.
Yeah.
We read about it next week.
Yep. Yeah. Multi-page stories. Yes. Yes. Again, it just sounds like such a fantasy. Is that in the running? Do you think Lake City already is in the running for a place you might one day settle down if you decide you're ready to? Yeah.
He's ready to move there right now.
That means you like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some nice places all around the U.S. that you could stay forever.
And probably some places y'all haven't seen yet, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can't decide yet.
Yeah, so
we got to see the other 5,000.
Right. Places. Yes. Don't pick anything yet.
Yeah, what I would like is to have a summer home in Lake City and a winter home somewhere else. You know, I'd like to be a snowbird.
Right.
But I just don't know that I would enjoy Lake City winters. I mean, they've already had snow after snow after snow up there.
Yeah.
And it's early November. So I don't know. It's really cold there in the winter, and I'm not a winter girl.
Yeah.
I'm a Texas girl. I'm used to heat.
And campers, fifth wheels, and such are not built for 4 season. The water will freeze.
Okay.
So,
right.
Unlike sticks and bricks.
Well, there's that chasing 70 degrees concept again then at play. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that because you were there that long and you met citizens and interviewed people and worked for the paper and wrote stories, you've got a whole new batch of lifelong friends now, regardless of whether you're staying there or not.
Oh yeah, we had a great summer. It was so fun, and it was one of those things that it just kind of fell into our laps and kind of fell into place. And I just feel like we get all of these little God nudges that say you're on the right track, you're doing the right thing. This is where I want you. You know. So
and you can't plan it all.
Yeah,
you just have to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, which Becky's already said that's kind of hard for her. That.
Yeah, I'm a planner, but I don't know, the whole the writing for the newspaper, that was fun because I could kind of plan my days out in advance and figure out and set up interviews with people ahead of time, because I was sort of doing the human interest stories and I was doing the stories of all the new businesses. There's a lot of turnover in Lake City for new businesses because it is so cold, and you do only make your money for 4 months of the year. You have to make 12 months of income in 4 months there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people, they have a really hard time with that, and their businesses just don't flourish.
Yeah.
So there was a lot to cover for the newspaper for new business.
Yep. All right, we're moving to the next picture here.
Oh, that's one of my favorite places to go are the observatories all around the U.S. There's one north of where we are here in Alpine. That one was Flagstaff.
No,
Okay.
Because I didn't go to Flagstaff. The
And
day
they all get mixed up.
Yeah, I imagine.
this
That's-
is McDonald Observatory.
Yeah, I've been there. Yes, we went there when we stayed at Davis Mountain State Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an optical telescope. You can look in it.
Yeah,
That thing is monstrous.
yeah,
And you
it's
can move it
amazing.
with one finger.
Yeah, yeah, and
Um,
see things that are trillions of miles away,
Yes, it was crazy.
billions of light years away.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. When we went, we did the little night star party thing, and the guides, you know, they would have laser pointers even, and because the sky there, y'all, if you've never been to a deep sky or a international dark sky location like down near El Paso, Big Bend area, it looks CGI. The sky does not even look real because there is that much to see that you can't see unless you're in a dark sky area. And so when we went, we got to look through all the telescopes, but also they would just take their little laser pointers and be like circling this little cluster in the sky and telling us that's this cluster and it's this far away and it's, you know, and then the light takes this long to get here. And I mean, it's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing stuff. And yeah, how mind blowing that giant device there is so sensitive. You just can move it with one finger, but it's so powerful that you can see
It's a
like
big-
the past, like you can see into the past with it. So yeah. Oh yeah, I love going. That's a fantasy of mine. So Richard would love to do like a road trip and hit every barbecue joint in the country. I would love to go to every observatory. I mean, we could combine those for sure. I would love to go to every observatory in the country. That would really be a fan. Not just the country. I mean, I'd love for it to be all over the world, but I'll settle for just the United States. Yeah, that's an awesome picture.
That I was going to hit on one other thing too. That he wanted to go see the observatory that's outside of Flagstaff, and I can't remember the name of that one. And we don't get sick very often, but occasionally my allergies get so bad, and I was so sick with allergies that day that we were near Flagstaff, or we were there for a few days. And I told him, I said, just go without me. I'm going to stay in bed all day. I was so sick I was stopped up and everything. So I haven't missed much, and he hasn't missed much because we've been sick, because we don't hardly ever get sick. But that particular day, yeah, I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Is it the Lowell? Is it the Lowell Observatory?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes.
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 Yeah, I've got some Arizona and New Mexico sky watching fantasy trips in my head, you know, just because there's so much open sky and good places to see.
The Lowell Observatory is a lot more intimate than this. It's smaller.
Oh, yeah.
And smaller tour groups. And you sit in the chair where Lowell himself wrote his articles and see through the telescopes and turn the knob, it'll focus.
Oh, nice.
It's more of a one-on-one tour. It's
nice. Very nice. All right, let's move to our next picture here. Here's another sunset picture.
So that's the one that, for me, I saw a cross there in the sun and the clouds.
I see it.
So this, I'm on, what is that highway? 11, I can't think of the number of it now, but it's south of Lillian, Texas. And this particular day, I was coming back from the house, and it was the last time that I was at the house by myself. Like I said, I had lived there for 27 years. I was single for many, many years, raising my kids in that house. And I was just praying the whole way home. And I was coming down whatever that little highway is, 1178, 1128, whatever. It's 11 something. And or I think that's it. Anyway, I can't remember the number. But I came around this corner while I was praying, and I was just saying, you know, God, I need a sign that all of this is, you know, in what you have in mind, and that that I'm not just being headstrong, because I could be very headstrong, and that me and Mark are not just too excited about thinking of this new life, that we're making this be,
Yeah.
you know, what we
Right.
think we
Yeah.
want,
Right.
you know, and God, I just need a sign that everything is going to be okay. And I turned the corner and I saw this, and I just started crying, and I was like, that was the sign that I needed. I needed to know that God had my back. And I don't know. It just, you know, to other people, maybe it was just a sunset, but to me, that was like, here's your sign, you know.
Yep. That's
I was
beautiful.
like, okay, thank you.
That is beautiful. And then another sunsetty kind of sky picture. Are those mountains? Are those
mountains?
Okay.
That big peak right there is called Uncompahgre.
Okay.
And that is right outside of Lake City, Colorado. And this picture was taken on top of a what do they call it? Like a viewing area.
Lookout. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a lookout. And we went up there on this particular day to go to see a presentation by this guy named Philip Verdon in Lake City, he runs the movie theater there, but he's also an amateur astronomer. And he does these programs up on top of this mountain where he talks about the stars and the moon and the planets. And you can go up there, and I think it's on Wednesday nights during the summer. He does this little presentation, and he's all about the Dark Sky Initiative. And this just happened to be sunset as we were getting up there one day. And I just thought it was one of the most beautiful pictures I took this
beautiful
summer.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
You can imagine how much sky there is from that altitude.
Oh,
that's up at about 10,000 feet.
Yeah, that's 1,000 miles across.
Stars go horizon to horizon, 360 degrees.
Yeah.
There are so many stars you can't make out the constellations anymore.
Yeah. Again, it looks, I just remember thinking, this looks like a movie. This looks like CGI from a movie, because there's just so much. It's sad to realize what we can't see when we're just, in town at home. That's beautiful. All right, let's see what we have next here.
Those super dogs.
There's Mr. Adventure himself, Dexter. The old man. That's his younger days.
His personality.
Oh yeah.
He always looks like he's going, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Yeah. Oh, he's so precious. He's just
what me? I wasn't up on the couch.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you had him? How old was he when you got him?
They think he was between 10 and 12 weeks when we got him.
Oh,
we
wow.
got him at the Arlington, Texas pound. And cute story goes along with that. He was one of two puppies in the same little pen there, and they were brothers. And his brother had the exact opposite coloring of him, where Dexter is brown, his brother was white.
Oh, how interesting.
So I fell in love with them, and we had supposedly just gone to look at the pound. My other dog, Missy, she was a Schnauzer. She had died about almost 2 years before that particular day. And I told Mark, he had been trying to see if I was ready for another dog anytime, and I just wasn't. I was still mourning my little girl, Missy. And anyway, so this one particular Saturday morning, I told him, I said, I feel like I'm ready to just go look. I just want to go look at the puppies, or the dogs, whatever.
Yeah.
So we drive over there. We walked in. I had not even finished writing my name on you're supposed to check in and write your name on the little sheet. I hadn't even finished writing my name, and these little puppies are looking up over this window. And my heart was like, oh my gosh.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. Yeah.
And so I told him, I said, but there's two of them. And he'll do anything I want most of the time. And he said, well, go get them both. And I was like, really? Can I have them both? And he said, go get them both. I said, okay. So I go over there, and it's $100 per dog to get them. And they said, oh, I'm sorry, that one's already been spoken for. They just went to go get a kennel and dog food and everything, and they're going to come back. And I was like, So I said, okay, well, I definitely want this one. So
Uh-huh.
we got Dexter. Oh my gosh, we hit the dog lottery with this dog.
Uh-huh.
He is smart. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's got more personality than most people you meet, you
Uh-huh.
know. He's hard-headed. He's stubborn.
And you can tell time.
He can tell time.
Oh, yeah.
It's food time.
And he's
Yeah.
what kind of dog? What kind of a dog is he, or what's he mixed
So-
with?
So they think that he's boxer and red heeler. He's got red polka dots all over him,
Okay.
and probably some terrier in him.
Okay.
I don't know. You can kind of see in his face sometimes the boxer,
Uh-huh.
and
Well, it looks like he kind of has that underbite thing.
he does.
Okay. Yeah. So
Underbite,
that's the first thing I think that makes me think of like boxer.
yeah.
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 That is a great picture of him.
He's a cutie.
He's
pie.
a mutt.
Here he is again with Daddy.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
This is more
That-
recent.
yeah. That was in Deer Lakes, Colorado. Deer Lakes is not far from Lake City, and it is a place that you can. Almost every time we've been there, we've either seen deer or moose or elk.
Wow.
What else? This year we saw. I'm not sure what that thing was. It was either a river otter or a beaver. We didn't get close enough to see,
Oh.
but we thought it was a little beaver. But somebody told me that there's river otter that stay in those little lakes there. So I don't know. It's really.
I just recently learned we have river otters here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because somebody was posting there's a little Facebook neighborhood group that I'm in. It's a Keller neighborhood group, but we're right near the border of Keller. We're on the far west side of South Lake. And so that makes more sense for me to be part of that neighborhood group, because the news and stuff that they share it's about stuff that I do and places we go, more than the South Lake stuff. And there was an animal, a deceased animal in the road somewhere. And I think someone had posted a picture saying, "What is that?"
Oh,
And they were wondering too, was that a beaver? And someone said, no, it's a river otter. So we have river otters. And I did not know that until, again, just within the last couple of weeks when that post went up on the neighborhood group.
well, he was a busy little guy. He kept swimming back and forth. He was building or doing, I don't know. He was busy.
Uh-huh.
He could not care less that we were sitting there watching him.
Oh, wow. Lots of people come around then.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what our next picture is. Oh, here we go again. Dexter with Daddy. Dexter's wiped
Okay.
out.
This is Dexter when he was super, super sick. We were back home in the, let's see, we were near Hillsboro in May. And when we got home, he was acting weird. Dexter was off. Something was off. And the more we watched him, we realized he's just shutting down. He was so sick. And he wasn't drinking water. He wasn't going to the bathroom. He wasn't eating. He just, and then when I felt of his little head, he was running fever. And I was like, oh boy, this dog is sick. And we had no idea what it could be. We didn't know if he got bit or what. So we took him to the vet that we normally take him to in Alvarado. And they determined he had some kind of an internal infection. They think he must have drank water maybe from a stagnant pond or something. We always see him and we know what he drinks from. We see what he's doing. He never is off leash just to roam free.
Yeah.
We don't have any idea what he got into, but let me tell you, that dog was this close to death.
Oh, wow.
That's a
There
picture.
he is, just wiped out. in my
Yeah.
arm. We're
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
in the vet's office.
No strength to even hold his head.
And they gave him a injection of something, antibiotic something, and it was like the next day he's up and running around.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
But
was a
right here he's
miracle.
just wiped out.
Yeah, but that
Wow.
was, I took that picture while I was standing there getting ready to pay out. And I
Right.
thought, man, this dog is sick because he
Oh.
always has energy, even
Oh,
at
yeah.
13 and a half.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
always got a little bit of energy. But yeah, that was a scary day.
Yep. I'm thinking that Jenny's note here about the Windy Point lookout in Lake
yeah.
City is
That-
what she was just referring to, that picture with the mountain peak. You
Yes.
were looking at it from Windy Point lookout in Lake City.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it earlier, but that's exactly right.
All right. And then this looks like our final picture.
So we did not know before we started this camping thing that Dexter's favorite place in the whole wide world was the ocean. He didn't know it either. So the first time we ever took him to the ocean was when we went to Port Aransas in 2020. And let me tell you, that dog lit up. He was so excited and so happy. Yeah. And he just kept looking at us like, do you see this water? This is awesome.
Yeah.
And he just kept running and jumping in it.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Biting at all the bubbles, chasing the birds
how sweet.
Beach.
How sweet.
He didn't walk anywhere. He always ran. That whole day.
So this is funny. So I can usually teach Dexter to do just about anything, and he is very responsive. He's very food motivated, so I can teach him anything if I've got little kibble in my pocket or whatever. So we were there, and the waves were pretty rough. This is in September. The waves are pretty rough, and we kept wanting to be out in, how you like to be in like chest high water. That's the most comfortable. And so we're out there in waist to chest high water, and he is just clawing Mark to death because there's no way he's going to stay on the beach.
Yeah.
He wants to be with us at all times. So we took him out in the water. He's clawing Mark to death.
But he can't swim.
Well, not in the waves. He can swim.
Oh, yeah. Just the force. Yeah.
Yeah. So I told Mark, I said, I think I can teach this dog to lay on a boogie board. I think I can teach him. And he's like, yeah, right. So we go to one of those little souvenir stores and we buy the cheapest little boogie board we could find. I think it was $6.99. This is 2020. And so the next day we go back to the beach again. And so I told Dexter, I said, I want you to sit. He sits down, and I said, I wanted him to sit on the boogie board. So I get him to sit. He got that, and he gets a little treat. I got him to lay down on it. And I said, okay, stay like that. And he's looking at me like, I get it. I got it. I got this, We go out in the water. Mark, he's got the boogie board. I get Dexter. I tell him, lay down on it. He puts his little claws on the sides of it, and he's hanging
himself.
Dear life.
He's hanging on for dear life on the sides of this boogie
But he
board.
was on it. But he was laying on it.
Let me tell you, that dog had a ball. He stayed on that boogie board. And
sweet.
So we come back in, and he's shaking off and everything. And this man, he had to be about, 80 years old. And he walks over to me and he said, I got to tell you something. He said, me and my wife, we come to the beach all the time and we see a lot of things. He said, I have never seen a dog do that before. He said, that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen anybody teach a dog.
I just balanced the board and it held his weight, and we were chest high water. And he's like, Dad, how are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
He loved it.
How sweet. Do you have another beach trip planned sometime soon?
No, we don't. We don't have much planned right now. We are going to be home for Thanksgiving. At this point, home is Grandview, Texas.
Okay.
My mom and Jerry live there in Grandview. We will be parked in Lake Whitney. That's where the RV park that we stay at is.
Okay.
And we will be there till at least January the 3rd. But in between there, we're going to be in Fredericksburg for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So,
that's a nice dog-friendly town.
Yeah. So right after Thanksgiving, I can't remember, like the 28th or 29th, something like that. We're going down to Fredericksburg. We'll be down there 2 weeks. And one of those weeks will be with some good friends that we've really missed. They'll be down there. And then we'll come back up around December 13th, and we'll be in town till at least January 3rd, probably longer.
Okay. There's good swimming at Lake Buchanan, not far from Fredericksburg.
Okay.
We took the dogs camping that's probably when we learned how much our dog Cooper loved the water. And German Shepherds aren't necessarily known for enjoying the water, but
Oh.
Cooper could not help himself. I mean, we have, horse troughs and other water receptacles here for the animals. Cooper would even climb into those kind of things just to be in the water. But when we took him to Lake Buchanan, and there'd been plenty of rain that year, so there was lots of water. We had to drag him out of the water when it was time to leave. I mean, he was so tired he could just barely keep his head above to keep breathing, but he kept wanting to swim in the water. And I knew when he finally reached a point that he was finally getting older, I'll say, he crossed over, he was at least 13, which is old for a German Shepherd dog. But he used to go out for me when I would call the ducks up in the evenings from the pond on our back pasture. Every now and then there'd be one that didn't want to come. They didn't want to get off the pond. They wanted to stay on the pond. And I pin them up before dark so that coyotes and stuff can't get them. And I would send Cooper out into the water, and he would just sort of swim by him and kind of hurt him, because that they would want to stay away from him. And so I knew probably, a couple of years before he crossed over, I sent him out to go flush one of the ducks out of the pond, and he started to get in the water, and he walked until, the water was about to his shoulders, because it's pretty deep in the end. And then he just turned around and came back. And I thought, he just doesn't have the strength or the mobility as much anymore. And he knows now that he can't go swim around that pond till the duck comes out, because sometimes it took a little while. But man, he loved the water too. I never thought to try get him on he would have needed a whole surfboard. He was a big boy, but I never thought to try something like that with him. But I love seeing Dexter in the water here. I love it. This is one of my favorite pictures. And I remember when this went up on your Facebook page. This was this maybe a cover photo or something even at some point?
Maybe.
I just fell in love with this picture the first time I saw it. Let me see if anyone has asked questions. Any questions for Becky and Mark on what life is really like when you are a full-time RVer? I think I had a couple more banners. Let me close my that was the last of the photos, because this next one is just that graph that I had pulled from the website. And I've got a couple more banners I thought I would share. So the last banner I shared was that in 2023, about 1 million Americans are living as full-time RVers. But then this one, many RV parks cost as little as $5 per night and come with laundry, electric hookups, gyms, and playgrounds for kids. You can either confirm that, or is that probably?
Yeah, I'd like to know where that is.
Yeah, $5 a night really blew my mind.
That's realistic if you're a member of that club.
Okay, maybe so. Park. Okay,
yeah,
maybe so.
Our 1,000 Trails, at some of the parks where we go, not all, but at some of them, if we want 50 amp, which we need for our camper because we have 2 air conditioners, and I'm often using an iron and stuff. And so 30 amp wouldn't be enough for us sometimes, but 50 amp, sometimes we have to pay $3 a night at even our 1,000 Trails membership for a 50 amp.
The extra. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this sounds like it's more like, well, no, let's see. Premium RV parks and resorts can cost you between $55 to $85 plus per night, while state parks sell an annual pass for around $80 to $225. But didn't you say state parks that doesn't really work for y'all?
Well, it depends. Some do, some don't. Many of them have this filter on them that you can't stay there if you're over 40 foot. And so we wouldn't work in those instances. I will say that in many of the parks, I'll just go ahead and put that we're 40 foot, even though we're actually 42, because it's not really realistic. What happens is they don't account for the fact that you can back your fifth wheel all the way up to, there's like usually a big railroad tie back there, or a big log or something back there. Yeah. Well, you've got an extra 4 or 5
hangover.
Hangover.
It hangs over. Yeah.
So it's plenty big for us in that case. Now, though, that would be true if we were in a big bus. If we've got a 40-foot bus, we're not backing up any further than that. But for us, in a fifth wheel, you can put in 40 foot, and it's plenty. And we can stay at a state park if it'll allow that.
The other concern is that the roads just aren't big enough. to maneuver
Right.
along vehicles.
Right.
These old parks that were done by a Corps of Engineers back in the teens, and
30s,
it's just not.
Well, when there weren't big RVs and stuff,
Made
people didn't
small
drive buses around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Regular folks didn't drive buses. Yeah.
We've seen some really bad scrape and people hit things and people back into things. We've seen people drive over rocks they didn't see there, and you just cringe because you're like, oh, that was thousands of dollars worth.
Yeah. Well, and you've had at least a handful of instances, right, where you get to a place and then you realize there is no way we can't possibly get in here. We can't maneuver.
Yeah. We had one. Where was that? Arizona.
It was in New Mexico.
And it was just not advertised correctly. So we get in there and nope, we're not going to fit. So now we got to find another place.
That was a hip camp.
Yeah.
And this lady was brand new to hip camp. I kind of got the feeling that she was just real blasé about it. Like, oh yeah, you can fit, no problem. And once her husband realized what she was doing, putting this on hip camp to try to make money every night, he was like, oh, our gate doesn't work for people.
No.
So I've got these reservations at this place. It was near Santa Fe. I was so disappointed because I really, really wanted to stay there to go to see the Loretto Chapel. It has a miracle staircase in it. I don't know if you've ever heard of this or not, but it's pretty cool. So I really wanted to see this, and I'd had this booked for months. And they called us 2 days before our reservation and said, I'm not sure you're going to fit in our gate. And I was like,
what?
You're kidding. This is during the balloon festival. I'm never going to get another parking spot.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I was asking my wife, and she said, y'all are 42 foot long, and it's a fifth wheel. And he's like, we just had a guy leave here that he had a really hard time getting in and out. And I'm like, well, what was he driving? He's like, oh, it was like a 38 foot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, oh, no.
Yeah, the math for itself. Oh, no.
So it happened exactly the way we thought. We'd get there. We thought we'd check it out. There's no way we were going to get in that gate. No way.
Do you report stuff like that? I mean,
yeah.
I was going to say, because just to protect others.
So it was no big deal.
It took a week, but I got my full refund, including hip camp's fees. Because they charge fees on top of the fees.
Right.
And it still ends up being cheaper than most of the RV parks. But they weren't going to refund me my fees. And I said, I'm really disappointed in this because it's not my fault. We went there. We tried to get there.
Right.
And the guy was like, oh, I meant to refund you your fees. Here you go. And so we ended up getting a full refund. But we did end up having to drive all the way down to Albuquerque to find a spot because there wasn't anything around Santa Fe. Not at that late day, not during the balloon festival.
Oh, my goodness.
So you gotta be flexible.
Yeah.
All right. I have a couple of other little tidbits of info here. There are over 16,000 campgrounds and parking facilities in the U.S. to support public and private RV camping. When I read this, I thought, what is the difference between public and private RV camping? What is private RV camping?
I think public may refer to the fact that if you are a boondocker, you can stay at Cracker Barrel overnight. You can stay at Bass Pro. Many Walmarts, you should call them ahead of time because many of them no longer allow that. People always mess it up for other people. And so
they had to decide to curb it. Yeah.
You can stay at Bass Pro, Cracker Barrel. What's the other one? Cabela's, I think. And there's several places that those are free, and also roadside parks a lot of times.
Okay.
So there's a lot of free
And there's public land.
There's BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land.
Okay.
There's a lot of that west of the Mississippi. There's none east of the Mississippi.
Okay.
And
so you don't book reservations. You just go, and if there's a spot, you're welcome to.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Are there limits though? Like they would run you off after a week, or?
I think they run you
They
off
do.
after 14 days, but
Okay.
I don't know. We've never stayed on BLM land,
Okay.
and we've never stayed at a Cracker Barrel or whatever.
That's all boondocking. So
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
no services, no, no power, water, or sewer. So
Right. Yeah. So not everybody could do it anyway. Yeah.
so we don't stay.
Yeah.
So, and then this last little stat, because once I do this, I'm going to ask you how many of these places have you been to already? The top 10 most popular states for RVers in 2021 were, because that's just the latest I could find data, California, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Wyoming, Texas, South Dakota, Oregon, New Mexico, and Montana. Of those top 10 in 2021, which ones have you not visited yet? You said you haven't been to California yet.
No, and the only reason we've kind of avoided them is because their prices are so expensive out there.
Right.
And from what we understand, diesel's going to be like $6 or $7 a gallon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's ridiculous. We have been to Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and Texas and New Mexico. We have not been to Wyoming, South Dakota, Oregon, or Montana yet. So when I got that call about Lake City this year, do you want to stay here the whole 3 months of the summer? We actually had reservations in Wyoming and Montana and South Dakota.
Uh-huh.
We were going to be doing Yellowstone, Devil's Tower.
Uh-huh.
We were going to Glacier National Park. I had all of that booked. And let me tell you, it was super expensive because it's the height of summer. It's height of tourist season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're going to Yellowstone, you got to book a year in advance.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
And I wanted to be there. We were going to be there for a full week in West Glacier. And then we were going to be a week or 2 weeks in West Yellowstone. And let me tell you, it was like $100 a night. And we don't normally pay that. We just won't. But this is something I really, really want to see. And I still have not made it yet to Yellowstone, Glacier, or South Dakota. I want to see the Mount Rushmore and Devil's Tower. I think Devil's Tower is just a big rock, but I don't know.
It's big. Yes,
but it's from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right?
It is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
very
what
cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll go. Yeah.
So I really want to see those things, but when we found out about Lake City, we were like, "This is an opportunity to live there for 3 months."
Yeah.
We're not gonna let that pass us by.
Yeah. It's kind of like a break in the.
Yeah.
I'm sure
was.
again, for those of us that don't do what you do, it's like it feels like you're on a break all the time. You just get to travel all the time, and But I know there's so much involved and so much planning and
It's nice
expense.
to get off the road for a while.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I would think it would be kind of like a break. Hello, Norwegian Homestead. I just wanted to leave that little blurb up there so I could remember to say hello to you. So you leave Alpine, you're coming back to Texas for the holiday.
Yeah.
Or is there another stop between, since we're still
we will stop one night. We will stop one night in Colorado City between Alpine and the Dallas-Fort Worth area because we have friends in Colorado City.
Okay.
And we try to see them every year that we do this trip.
Okay.
We stop at their place before we end up going home. And
Okay.
we'll be there the night of like the 20th or 21st. I can't remember. I don't have my calendar up.
And then has your Big Sky country part of the country been rescheduled? Do you have Montana and
Not
Wyoming?
right now.
Okay.
No, I have not rescheduled that. Next year is kind of up in the air. We're not sure what next year holds. We have lots of family and friends that we want to catch up with and see how everybody's doing. And we don't know if we're going to take a break for a little bit or if we're going to hit right back out on the road come January. We'll talk about that closer to once we get home and talk to everybody and see how everybody's doing. We'll see what we want to do.
And are you going to go ahead?
What we've done in the past is we winter in Texas and head counterclockwise around the U.S. across the South, Georgia, Mississippi, all the way to the coast, up the coast, and across either Midwest or Northern and over to the Rockies, and then back down to Texas for the winter.
Okay.
And that seems to match the seasons the best.
Okay.
It keeps us out of storms on the east.
Right.
We're in the west.
And heat.
We're out
Yeah.
of the cold in the west when we're, out in the east.
Right.
So that counterclockwise swing works really well.
Okay.
We may do that again next year. We'll see.
And while you're here, are you going to stay at your mom's?
No, they don't have facilities for our camper on their property.
Okay.
Well, they do, but they have their camper hooked up to it. And they also, they don't think that we will fit through their gate. We've never actually measured it to see if we would fit through their gate.
You guys and gates. Yeah. That's how I know how big that setup is.
Yeah, it's like moving an apartment down the road
those,
every day.
Those wide loads. I'm imagining when I see those wide load things going down the highway with the trucks, kind of escorting them.
Yeah. So what I would like to do next year, I don't know if we're going to get to or not, but what I'd like to do is I really wanted to go and do the whole Eastern Seaboard. And I really wanted, well, first of all, my daughter and son-in-law and the 4 kids live in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And so, of course, I'd love to go see them again sometime soon, maybe even sooner than normally we see them in February or March. And like to see them. And then I want to work my way up into Washington, D.C. to go to the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's in April.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember Dawn Woodard from high school.
I remember that name. I remember the name, but
she lives in Maine.
Okay.
And we were in Maine in 2018. We were on a cruise, and it stopped in Portland and in Bar Harbor. And it was beautiful up there. And so I would love to go back up there, say hi to Dawn. And then I also want to see all of like Boston and all of the history.
Yeah. Oh,
yes. All of the history in Pennsylvania. And we were talking about Plymouth Rock the other day, and apparently it's such a letdown because it's just a rock. And it's a rock like a rock this big.
Oh.
And it says Plymouth on it.
Oh, that's like my Blarney Stone story.
Yeah.
So when I saw the Blarney Stone, if you've never kissed the Blarney Stone, in my mind, you like go out onto the moors and there's this giant stone in the middle of the land there, and you got to climb a ladder or whatever. No, it's you go in the castle, Blarney Castle, and then you have to flip upside down, and one of the people that works there has to hold you because you have to bend your body up under. I'm getting away from the microphone. You have to bend your body up under like a wall so that you can kiss the Blarney Stone that's like under what is a wall or a walkway on another part of the castle. Which is still just a thrill to be able to do it and say I did it. But it wasn't my whole life. I'm thinking, I'm going to run out onto the moor. There'll be a little bit of fog, and there will be lambs around and sheepdogs or whatever. And no, it's just you got to wait in line with 100,000 other people.
Right.
Go up some steps and make some turns, and then do that contortion thing, flip yourself upside down to kiss the stone. But I did it. I can say I did it. So I'm thinking that may be a Plymouth Rock kind of experience too.
Yeah, so you should Google Plymouth Rock. I
will.
I was cracking up whenever I was kind of thinking about the plans and looking at that, and I really want to see like Salem, Massachusetts, and do all of the touring. I love all the touristy stuff. I'm a tourist at heart. And I Googled that Plymouth Rock one day, and I was like, wait, what? It's
no. And when I think Plymouth Rock, I'm thinking like Rock of Gibraltar. Like,
me too. I'm thinking it's going to be
trumpets playing and all that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I won't be surprised now when I go up there. And Harpersville, New York. I don't know if that would be near anywhere you're going to go. I still would love to make a trip up there. There's an animal park, Animal Adventure Park is in Harpersville, New York. It's is it the Adirondacks? I don't know. It's not like a New York City kind of place.
Right. Yeah.
It's far opposite of the big bustling cities as you can get. But back in the day when that April the giraffe, made world news because she was having her baby, I got hooked on that, and so I try to keep up with that Animal Adventure Park. And that part of New York just sounds so beautiful and peaceful and scenic to me. So it might be something to
New York.
He used to live
we'd vacation in Adirondacks,
Okay.
Finger Lakes in the
Okay.
central
Yeah.
state. It's all beautiful.
Okay. Anyway, so
Um,
that when you were talking about making your way up the eastern seaboard, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe you could swing over to the west just a little bit and hit Harpersville and go say hi. I mean, April's not with us anymore, but you can go say hi to the giraffes for me.
Oh,
You can go
that
say hi to the
giraffe's not with us anymore.
No, she passed away maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. I want to say a couple years after she had that first baby. She had another baby giraffe, and then she passed away.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but there's other giraffes, and one of her offspring, I think, still lives there, and the father, her mate, I think, is still there. So yeah, if you make it to Harpersville, go say hi to the giraffes at Animal Adventure Park for me.
Nice. Nice.
Well, I don't have any more questions for you guys. Anything else you want to share with us in parting? Anything, any advice for anybody that's maybe thinking of joining, you on these kind of adventures? Or
I don't know. I wanted to touch back on one thing that we talked about earlier, and that was the fact that we don't have any storage buildings full of our furniture and all of that kind of stuff. Back when we decided to do this, there was a time when I had my own business as a professional organizer, and I would go into people's homes and I would organize their kitchens and closets and garages or whatever. And one of the things that I found was that people often had storage units and they couldn't remember what was in them.
Yeah.
And, you watch the show Hoarders or whatever, and these people, they can never remember what's in stuff.
Yeah.
So when we decided to do this, I told Mark, I said, I don't want to get a storage unit. I mean, our furniture was almost brand spanking new when we got rid of it. And, we were like, do we want to hang on to this? What if we get another house someday? What do we do? And I said, I don't want to store it. Rats are going to get to it in a storage building. It's going to get old and faded and gross. And I told him, so that was one of the things I wanted to touch back on is we were very adamant that we did not want to have storage that we had to pay for every month. It's
With
expensive.
stuff that you won't even remember you've got.
Yeah.
Right.
Because everybody that I met when I was doing organizing, they couldn't remember what was in them. And that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Well,
I'm not paying $100 or
even
$200
here.
a month.
Yeah, I know even here we don't have like an offsite storage place, but I know there'll be boxes or there's stuff out in the garage. And if it wasn't here anymore, for some reason, if it disappeared, I wouldn't even know it had disappeared. I wouldn't I don't ever go looking for it or looking at it. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know. And yet it's some of the stuff, it's just stuff that just moves with you every time you move.
Yes.
You don't have a place to put it or display it, or you don't need it because you combine households and now you've got, plenty of other stuff to use. And so that whole minimalist concept is very appealing to me for that reason. But at the same time, I love little knickknacks and trinkets and sentimental things. And so my rule kind of is, if I have a place where I can put it, where I can see it, I can enjoy it, other people can see it and enjoy it, then maybe it's okay to have it around. But I have to wonder too, what's the point if it's not even something that I would miss if it was gone because I don't even remember I have it, or I don't know where it is, or I don't even know if I still have it or not, then why do I have it?
So the hardest thing for me to get rid of is I could not part with my scrapbooks and my photo albums. I'm very, very sentimental when it comes to that stuff. And so a friend of mine was telling me how she used a scanner for all of her receipts.
Oh, yeah.
So she told me about the scanner that she uses. And the one that I ended up buying was like hers. It's called a ScanSnap S1300i.
Okay.
And let me tell you, that little thing is a workhorse. And what I have started doing the entire time we've been doing this as full-timers now, I usually have a good 3 or 4 banker box size boxes with us as we're traveling. And on my down days when we're not out, touring or, being entertained, I sit here and I scan for hours.
Oh, wow.
And I have put all of, I've probably cleared out, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 boxes. And I mean, these are big boxes.
Wow. Okay.
But there's a ton of photo albums and journals and things like that. And I've got thousands of photos now, and I keep a thumb drive. I keep a little thumb drive of all of it, so that if something ever happens to us, I've got a thumb drive for each one of my kids.
Oh, nice.
And I guess I should make one for each of your kids too. I mean, they don't ever really act like all of our kids don't act like they care about all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I figure if something ever happens to us,
One day when you're gone. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
pictures.
now there's companies too where you can just send in your photos or your VHS tapes or your 8mm, whatever, and they digitize it all, put it on discs or thumb drives or whatever. And
but I tell you, it's been hard to digitize the stuff, scan it, and then throw it away.
Get rid of it.
I am determined to go completely paperless.
Yeah.
And that has been the biggest challenge of my life.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's the tactile connection too. You pick up the photo and you can smell it, there's just
or your grandma's handwriting is on the back.
Yeah. So I can see where that would be really, really hard. But I'm proud of you guys for what you have done. Again, I try to not be too connected to stuff.
Me too.
But I know it would be hard to let go of some stuff if I really was going to find myself in a position where I could do this fantasy thing that it still sounds like you guys are doing, because I haven't done it yet. So it still sounds like a fantasy, but I have loved every second of having you guys on the show today. I feel like I've been traveling kind of. And if and when we ever get in a position where we aren't so tied down here, we're kind of tied down because we have a lot of animals.
Yeah.
That would just not work for lots of reasons because we have a lot of animals. But I love to travel. I mean, that's one of my passions. I would love to still be back in the days when I could travel and went all around the world. And but it's just not meant to be for right now. But I think I will have learned a lot of things I need to know before I have to do it.
Well, you can.
What's that?
Yeah.
Do it while you can, because one day you
won't be able to.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
And that's the other reason why we did this now is we're both healthy enough that we can go up and down stairs.
Oh yeah.
We can hook the camper up and still back up and not bang into it. And,
right.
We still have enough health that we can still walk around McDonald
Enjoy
Observatory.
The sights. Yep. Well, I'm inspired by you. And I'm honored that you were on the show today. I'm very excited that Dexter did make an appearance for a little while. He could have his own YouTube channel. Y'all could start a YouTube channel and do everything from his perspective.
I have a YouTube channel, and he is usually on it.
What is your YouTube channel?
I don't promise that it's an award-winning channel because I still don't really know what I'm doing. But my channel is it's Mrs. Phillips, so it's MRS Phillips from TX. Mrs. Phillips from Texas.
All right.
And
all together, no spaces?
All together, no spaces.
All right. I'm going to look it up because I'm going to put a link up. Because when I first started doing interviews on the show, here we go, Mrs. Phillips from Texas. When I first started doing interviews on the show, it was other content creators because I was trying to get their name out there and, help promote their channels and let them connect with more people. So there is Becky's channel link right now.
Awesome.
And you just may find yourself with a new handful of subscribers.
So it
looks like some of what I see on the channel, I might have seen on your Facebook page, but we won't send a bunch of people to your private Facebook page. So this would be a fun way for you guys to see some of what I already knew about Becky and Mark and Dexter and their travels. And, part of why I was inspired enough to see if she would be willing to have them on the show. And so there's your channel.
Yeah, so I usually do what's called a moving day video. And the main reason I started this was because we had so many family and friends that said, oh my gosh, I want to know where you are. Y'all tell us all about what you're doing and where you're going and, everything. And I said, okay. I said, well, I'll make sure that everybody knows where we are.
Okay.
And because, gosh, we hear of all these crazy.
Oh, yeah. If something happened. Yeah.
Murders and things.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People, don't know where the last place was. Somebody was camping and So I'm pretty vague on my channel about the actual RV park that we're going to. I don't,
Right.
because
But at least
you don't know
the
what
city and
you're
state
in
where you're
for.
going. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but at least this way you know what city we're going to.
Yeah.
And my mom and my kids almost always know what RV park we're at.
Right. Right.
And so that way, if something ever did happen to us, you know, y'all know where to start
Yeah.
looking.
And I just subscribed to your channel, so I'm going to run the playlist of all your videos later. I like to remind people that when you subscribe to a channel, you do have to watch some videos, because every now and then YouTube goes through and just clears out people that don't watch videos and all they did was subscribe, you know, I don't know, to get the number up. So you do have to watch the videos, but that's your channel there. I'm excited to learn you have a channel. I feel dumb now that I didn't know you had a channel already. But when I mentioned earlier in the show, Blake Walker, I didn't know Blake Walker had a YouTube channel.
I didn't either.
Just stumbled on that because he has posts on his Facebook page, but Facebook has not been showing those to me. I just happened to see one today where he shared a link for a short for his channel. And so I'm hoping I can get him on the show, because again, that's how I started my interviews, was other content creators, just helping people grow their channels. But, you know, after a while I thought, you know, I'm just going to do some stuff that's fun for me too. I'm going to introduce people to friends I know that have interesting stories and talents and histories to share. So you were in that bunch, and now you've just crossed over into both categories. So we'll see if we can't grow your YouTube channel too, and have more people following you on your journeys.
Okay. I love that.
Right. You guys be safe, be happy, be well. I will continue to keep up with you on Facebook. And again, I so appreciate you taking the time to come on and be my guests and share with us, because it was enjoyable for me. I know it's going to be enjoyable for my audience, and somebody somewhere is going to see the video and learn something from what you told us today, so that maybe they save themselves some headaches or some money, or, you know, all of the snags that can happen when you're starting out doing this full time.
And we are always open to answering people's questions. We have strangers call us every now and then through friends that say, you know, my friend is thinking about doing this. Can they call you? And I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So what a great resource you are. All right. Well, you've been a blessing to me for a long time.
Well,
and
thank
you've been
you.
an inspiration to me for a long time. I hope you're still dancing every now and then, because I will always see you as a dancer. And you know, I say that, not you. And one reason I say that too, I was so excited. Carol shared, you know, our Carol Beggs. What was her maiden name now? Oh my God.
Rogers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So she shared a video of her and Billy dancing somewhere. And I thought, oh my gosh, my heart is so full just to know she's still dancing. She's still dancing. It just, that meant so much to me. That's a gift. And I feel bad to ever know that someone can't, you know, enjoy their gift anymore or share their gift anymore. So I hope you're still dancing, even if it's just in front of your TV and your RV, whatever. Please keep dancing.
Well, it shakes the RV a little bit if you dance. But
that's okay. That's okay. The earth can enjoy it that way too.
I will say I used to break out dancing in the kitchen sometimes when I was cooking, and Dexter would look at me like,
what is wrong with you?
What's wrong with Mom?
What's wrong with Mom?
Yeah. Maybe it's good that I was never a dancer, because then I don't have to surprise anybody by doing that here. But again, this was a treat and a blessing to have you on the show today. And I'll be excited for the next posts you share and videos that I can watch.
Right.
Oh, can you tell it's time for the dice?
Thank you so much.
Yes. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was my friend Becky, her husband Mark, and Dexter, for those of you that were here for enough of the show that you got to see him. And I do hope you guys maybe learned some things that you were maybe inspired to hit the road. You know, that is just such a fantasy to me, to not be tied down, to have the ability and the health and the means to see the country and enjoy the road trips that I know they get to do. So this was a fun show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you to those who were with us live today. Please check out Becky's channel. I really didn't even know she had a channel until I mentioned that she should have a channel, and she informed me that she does have one. So check that out. You guys go along for the ride with them, and maybe help her grow her channel while we're at it. So, and thank you to those of you who know Becky but don't know me that came to support her by watching the interview today. That means a lot to me as well, and I'm happy to have you visit my channel. I think that's all I have for you guys. I'm looking to see. Okay. I'm making sure. I was getting messages on my phone, and I just want to be sure it's not something I need to attend to. Richard just let all the dogs out. This is when the dogs go out. As soon as I end the show, I have to go feed the flock. I've really got to stay on top of that now because it gets dark so early that I have to put them up really early compared to what they were able to enjoy before daylight savings time. So again, thank you everyone for being here. It is always a blessing and an honor for you to show up, if even just one person shows up. So when I have more than one person show up, that is gravy. That is icing on the cake. And I appreciate you so much for it. Again, I have a video coming out tomorrow. Shorts are still going up every day. Just when I think I'm going to run out of ideas, I think of something else. So I hope you're enjoying those. I haven't checked today's short again in a while. It's one that's really special to me, so I hope you will check it out. But it was doing really well when I checked it before the show started. So happy travels to those of you who are traveling. And as always, be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I will see you next week. Again, I don't have a guest lined up at this point, but I've got some just fun things from around the internet that I thought we could share. And you are welcome to join me on screen. Introduce yourself to viewers, talk about your channel, talk about your life, your own travels, hobbies, whatever you'd like. As we're moving into the holiday season, it always becomes more of a focus for me personally to connect even more deeply with people, whether that's people I know through YouTube or friends in real life. I had a blast doing my law enforcement series, y'all. Those were all real life friends of mine who serve or have served as police officers. That is near and dear to my heart. And it's just, again, revived in me this thing that happens every year for me around this time, where I just realize how important connections are. And I want to be that much more connected to the people that I know, to new people maybe that I haven't met yet. So you guys help me with that every day by visiting the channel, coming to my live streams, participating when I have guests on the show. And I thank you for that. I will leave the chat open for, let's see, hang on. Oh, yes, let's get Jerry and the family on, and let's get Daisy, because I know our minds will be blown. These German Shepherd dogs grow so fast that I imagine I'm going to be teary-eyed to see how big she is already. So, yes, plan on that, Jerry. Let's plan on getting you guys on the show for a little while next week. And anyone else, you don't have to have a YouTube channel. So if you just want to come and share, again, your holiday plans, your favorite Thanksgiving recipes, anything you might want to do, I would love to have you on. Let's connect. YouTube can be such a beautiful way to grow yourself, to grow relationships, to share knowledge and motivation and inspiration with each other. And I invite you, you're always welcome to do that. Anyone, you don't have to be a YouTuber to do it. And thank you, Becky. Yes, gosh, you guys were good. I knew it would be a good show. I knew you were both well-spoken enough and that you weren't like so shy that it was going to be uncomfortable for everyone. And it was just everything I hoped it would be, and then some. So again, you guys go check out Becky's channel. I'll see you next Friday, 2:00 Central Time. It's just still up in the air whether we might have a guest for part of the show or not, but I will do my best to make it a fun time for you. I'll leave the chat open for a little while so you guys can say your goodbyes. Please remember to check out some of the channels on my spreadsheet at the beginning of the show. Those are all wonderful connections I've made here because of YouTube, and they're great people and they're great channels. And I'll thank you in advance for going and showing them some love and support by giving them a visit. Take care. I'll see you next Friday. Stay warm if you're in a cold place. Stay cool if you're in a warm place. And I think that does it for today. I love you guys. Bye.